him. You could be a Bradley's baddie too. You could be a Bradley's baddie too. So join Jovan and get your critical cap on. There's a Bradley's baddie inside of me and you.
Hello. What's up, chat? Hi, good morning. Hello. How goes it? Does it go? What's up? Welcome to stream. Hey. We oh, the YouTube live isn't live. Oops. Hi, YouTube. Sorry. Sorry, but I'm here. Hi. Whoops. You guys want to see what I got yesterday? Got it. Look at it. It's good. It's exactly what I want. It's so good. Very happy with this. It makes noise too. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. This shit is so good. The giddy shake. Where's the... Wait. It makes other noises. Oh, there it is. I don't know if you can hear it now, but it's playing the song. Crazy. I just have to figure out where I'm putting it. Like where it's gonna live in the office. Find an actual place for it to live. So that should be fun. Never heard a peep from the sword. It's fine. Just know it makes noise. Anyway, we're here to debate, guys. 219-327-8005. We have 6 topics on the board. Capitalism is failing people. Systemic racism never ended. Trump is a terrible president. Gender affirming care saves lives. Trans men and women are men and women. And Christianity is not true. Those are our topics. I'm kind of tired, but it is what it is. Either way, we're here to argue. So if you want to debate, 219-327-8005. If you can handle a debate, so many of you can't. I can't handle if Felix calls, that might be the last time you ever see me, guys. Felix says Jesse Lee Peterson voice. Amazing. Let's not talk about Felix. I don't want to crash out today. I'm excited to see how Christians and MAGA will embarrass themselves today. Same way they embarrass themselves every day, friend. By saying really stupid shit. I still can't believe that guy me and Jimmy talked to yesterday said that the FBI was one of the 3 branches of government. I was sad. Like, how do you combat that? How do you combat that level of stupidity? I don't think there's a way. Like, at some point I have to recognize that there's two. Is it true Mitch McConnell has died? The reports are that he's brain dead and he's being kept on life support right now. But God, I hope so. I mean, the man's fucking damn near 90 and had a heart attack. You're not coming back from that. He said, oh no, Mitch McConnell. Oh no. Aww. Wow. Those reports come from Laura Loomer. Yeah, true. But where the fuck is he? Right? Like, where is he? Like, homie was definitely found unconscious. It's been like a month since he's been seen. I think motherfucker's dead. They're gonna weekend at Bernie's Mitch McConnell. Oh my God. Could you imagine? If you ever looked up the corruption with Mitch McConnell, homie, if I looked up the corruption of Mitch McConnell, I would be here for like 8 weeks just sorting through documents. Motherfucker is a fucking monster. They don't want that special election, bro. Two 327-8005 if you want to debate. I can't imagine being married to Mitch McConnell. Oh, dude, I was watching a Jake Gyllenhaal movie the other day because I was like, you know what? I tend to like everything Jake Gyllenhaal is in. Even if I don't like the movie, I like him. Like, I think he's a fucking phenomenal actor. So I wanted to watch that Roadhouse movie because he did a remake of Roadhouse. And all the clips I saw, I was like, he's fucking funny as shit in this. So I was like, let me watch this. And motherfucking Conor McGregor shows up. Ugh. Ugh. Great. I love watching that fucking rapist. Like, god damn, dude. Talk about ruining a fucking movie. He's also a fucking dog shit actor. Yeah, I'm all in favor of setting age limits on public office. I don't think you should be running for office when you're in your 80s. This is what I talk about when people talk about like false accusations and shit. They're like, they're just trying to ruin these men's lives. Whose life is actually being ruined? Because Conor McGregor is still up and cooking. Plattner needs to get his shit and pack up and go fuck home. I feel like once you turn 65, you need to just you're done with public office. We don't need you there anymore. And look, don't get me wrong, as a black man, I know that like fake allegations can happen, right? Famously, Emmett Till, right? But this idea that women bring fake allegations to like ruin a man's life is just so fucking horseshit, dog. Because your life ain't gonna get ruined anyway. Not if you're white, at least. Louis C.K. has made a comeback and is now doing comedy stuff again. Jovan, everything about running for office? God, no. 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 Chris Brown, brother. People still buy tickets to Chris Brown concerts. It blows my fucking mind. I think 65 plus can still have plenty to offer. They just shouldn't be in public office. I'll die on this hill, by the way. (219-827) or no, 827 219-327-8005. What I've noticed is usually the first hour of the show is us just building everybody to get in here and get the topics moving. So make sure you're liking the live over on YouTube. I love when people tell me to get a job while I'm actively working my job. It's the funniest thing in the world. It's hilarious. Okay. I'll go get a job. Did it. Took me 2 seconds. No, you're a loser. You need a real job. I mean, I make more than you. I hate to break it to you. Off YouTube ad rev alone, I make more than you. I promise you that. For algorithms. It's funny. Bro, what? You don't. Sorry, buddy. I sure do. Hate to break it to you. A real job is someone who makes real money. Deadass. Tell my taxes I don't work a real fucking job. I'm doing an amendment for my taxes this year because there's some stuff I forgot to put on there for like business expenses that I have to add onto there. Or some of your fave lesser known contemporary civil rights activists? Not lesser known, but Fred Hampton is not talked about enough, and Fred Hampton needs to be talked about in the same vein as MLK and Malcolm X. The fact that Fred Hampton's name is not in the same breath when people say Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. is a mistake. Like massive mistake. What headphones? Have him send you his tags for him. You can do it. Emails in my bio. You send me yours. I'll send you mine. We'll see who makes more. Not the pocket watch. See, did their job. No, dead ass, bro. Taylor, thank you for the Venmo. Said, here's some real money for your real job. Fuck ICE. True, fuck ICE, bro. If you were to run for office, what office would it be and what would your campaign slogan be? I wouldn't run for office. But if I ever did, it would be for either a governorship or like a... I'll run for the presidency, and my slogan would be "Stop being idiots." Jovan for president. Everybody stop being idiots. We could make this shit. We could make this shit work so well. He said, "I've called him many times. I own Jovan." No one knows who you are, dog. Hate to break it to you. We don't know who you are. We don't care. What? Somebody call me a liberal? Gross. No, dead ass. The way the government was threatened by Fred Hampton should be studied by every civil rights movement because they were fucking piss scared of that man. My name's Bill from New Hampshire. We've talked many times. Then you know I've dunked on your shit many times. Yeah, I know. He said Bill from New Hampshire, like that means I know who he is. Brother is talking to himself in chat. That's crazy. Would you make a friend? Would you make a friend? Huh? What? I don't know. What? Would you make a friend and how you use? Oh, would you make a video essay on that? Ooh, that could actually be good. How Fred Hampton terrified the U.S. government could be an actual fucking great video essay. Thank you for the suggestion. Delphinus Deem, thank you for subbing with Amazon Prime for your 8th month. Chips, thank you for subbing with Prime. Hydrate. No, that was a great idea for an essay. Oh, obviously it would leave out that part. They don't like to talk about how the Black Panther Party was led by like hella Marxist leaders. Yeah. I've started taking notes on calls, and I wonder if it would be cool to make a running database where if you guys go and listen to a call on YouTube after I post it, you can pull up my notes to it. And even cooler would be if I timestamp them and they show up live as the call is going, and you can just see my thought process like in the notes. That would just take a lot of work. I'm sure there's a way I could do it into the site though, that it's automatic. All right, we got our first call. All right, coming up to stream is Tom from Pennsylvania to talk about topic number 5, trans men and women being men and women. Tom is calling to tell us that trans women aren't women because women is typically defined as having phenotypically female expressions. So let's see how Tom defends this. Tom, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns. Okay, now Tom, as I said, Jesus Christ, can't type today. Jesus Christ. Pronouns. As I said, you believe that trans women cannot be women because woman is typically defined by phenotypical female expression. Is that correct? Great. Then why don't you give me the full truth? I said, why don't you give me the full truth? Well, that's not true. You know that there are female plants. Oh, you were muted. God damn. I do this every time, always on the first call. So let me just repeat, guys, what Tom said. Tom, 31 Pennsylvania, said that women, and I wrote this down, so this is perfect. He said he would define women as typically associated with phenotypical expression of the sex of female, and he would define female as typically associated with Homo sapien mammalian birth. Tom, you recognize that like Homo sapien and mammal Homo sapiens are not the only females on the planet, right? We're actually probably one of the smallest groups of females on the planet.
Right, but see, I think in this, I feel like the one thing that's in this discussion that like the words typically and associated, like
Yeah,
so
but we don't typically
so
associate females with just Homo sapien Homo
when
sapien
we're talking
males.
about human beings that are Homo sapiens, we do.
But when we're just talking about defining female, you can't define female in a way that cuts out the billions of other females on the planet. And almost every species has a female if it reproduces, and it reproduces in a dimorphic way.
But we're talking about language here. We're not talking,
And even in language, that's not what language would typically refer to when someone says female. They wouldn't
what is a
only
bitch?
be. That would be
what is the biological
typically a
definition
female
of a bitch?
dog.
Right. So why do we use that? We have a word to define a female dog.
That's just to make categorizing easier. It's still female.
That's all we're doing is categorizing.
Okay, Tom, when you define female as typically associated with Homo sapien mammalian birth, that is incorrect. That is a definition that would not hold anywhere. That's not even how people tend to use the word female. When we use female, we just refer to a species that engages in reproduction opposite of males.
Okay, then I'm fine with that too. Then
Great. Now my question is, why ought women be defined this way?
well, yeah. So that was my next point. Is I guess the point is, why can't there be separate category? Why do trans women have to be women? Why can't they be trans women?
I'm
and
not
be women?
entirely sure why we're now asking me a question.
Okay.
My
okay,
question to
I'm sorry.
you was in response to your point, which is why ought woman be defined in this way, which is the association of phenotypical expressions of the sex of female.
Because what's the point of even categorizing humans at all then, if we don't have distinctions based on phenotypical expressions to acknowledge that we're different, and those phenotypical expressions are associated with some kind of biological component?
Okay, so you ignored my question again. If I'm asking you why we ought do something, if your answer is because why not, then that's not a good reason or compelling reason to do this thing. So if your answer is
No,
just
because
like, well,
I
why
gave you an
not do
answer.
it?
No.
Yes,
I gave you
your
an
answer was, well, if we don't do it, your answer was, well, why even categorize people at all? What? I'm asking you about the type of categorization. Why
Okay,
ought we
so
categorize it in this way? That's in
are
no
men and
way,
women
shape, or
different?
form. Wait, again, you're ignoring my question. I know you have a script right now, but I need you to get off the script. You have made a claim here that we ought define woman as typically associated with phenotypical expressions of the sex of female. And I'm asking why we ought do that.
Why we ought to? Because because human beings, men and women, are different.
Yep,
And
there's no reason we can't define that difference in another way. I'm asking why it ought to be defined in this specific way.
Well, is that the question, or is the question whether men and women are different and whether trans women are women?
The question is why ought we define woman as typically associated with phenotypical expressions of the sex of female?
But that's not your question.
It was
originally.
my question. It
No,
quite
your
literally
question
was.
Number 5, are trans men women, and are they
That's
the same
not a
thing?
question.
That's your question.
Number 5 is not a question. It's a position, not a question. You then gave me a counter position, and I'm asking why we ought to define women in this way of your counter position.
Okay, because, and you're going to argue against this, but when it bleeds over into societal issues such as bathrooms, such as doctor care, then it would help to have defining characteristics to say osteoporosis is more commonly associated with females, for instance, or women, and women are what.
Oh no, you already shot yourself in the foot with that Freudian slip. Yeah, we already have something to answer in that way, and it would be saying female. But I'm not talking about female. I'm asking why woman ought be defined in a way in which we are just relaying to female. So what you said was, well, the reason we ought define woman this way is because we have something like you go to a doctor will need to know if you're female. They can still know that. I'm asking about the definition or the categorization of woman and why we ought define woman in a way that is the typical association with phenotypical expression of the female sex.
It's such a nihilist question, though. Why do we
What is nihilism?
why do we define anything?
What is nihilism?
Essentially meaninglessness. Like
how is my question? Can you square this circle for me? Substantiate how my question is meaningless.
Then why do we define a Coke can as a round circular object that holds soda in it? Why do we define grass as something green that grows?
Where I don't understand why I'm being asked a question again when I've asked you one. It seems very much like you don't have an answer, and so because you don't have an answer, you're trying to like get me to answer the question for you.
Well,
so one, I wouldn't define grass as like a green thing that grows in the ground, because not all grass is green, bud.
Well, what is it then? Brown when it dies?
I don't know a definition of ground off the top of my head, but typically when we create categories, we're trying to create categories that best define a distinction here, right?
There you go. You just said it. You just said it.
Tom,
thank you. You gave me my answer.
Tom, your definition doesn't best define this.
Well, now it's a matter
so here's what has happened here. Here's what's happened here. You couldn't answer the question, and I fell for it. And you know what? Kudos to you, Tom. You got me to fall for it. You couldn't answer the question, so you just wanted to try to wiggle your way into getting me to give an answer to you. And now that you have an answer, now you're like, I got it now. I can say this. But I don't think you can substantiate this answer in any relevant way. So I will move to the second, because you were able to weasel your way out of answering the question.
Now you don't have a clip out of it, so you got to move on. I got it.
No, Tom, I'm continuing the conversation, Tom. I'm continuing the conversation. You weaseled your way into an answer that you did not provide. So I will go off of, let's say now, I guess I'm debating myself. So in fact, you know what? We'll do it this way. Hold on, Tom. I'm going to mute you because I'm debating. I'm going to mute you because I'm debating myself now, apparently. So Jovan, why ought we define women as typically associated with phenotypical expression of the sex of female? Well, right, Jovan. I'm wrong, Jovan. Well, right, Jovan, because that definition best separates the category cleanly. Well, if that's the case, wrong, Jovan, what is the defining traits of being female? Well, right, Jovan, it would be something like a phenotypic expression or chromosomal makeup or something like that. Well, wrong, Jovan. Aren't there females who don't have the typical association of these things? And how would they fit into the category? Well, they can still be in the category, right, Jovan, even if they don't have those. Well, wrong, Jovan. If that's the case, trans women also wouldn't have those. So you mean they can still fit into the category as well? What? What? No. There we go. That's what the next 10 minutes of the conversation is going to be. So I'll unmute you now, Tom. This is where we're at in the conversation. So continue off of where wrong Jovan left off.
Why did you mute me? I wasn't trying to talk over you.
I muted you because I was debating myself anyway, so I might have just done it. It was super simple. I just saved us 10 minutes of time by just debating myself. It was super easy.
Why is it when I listen to your show and you have a racist spewing stuff, you let them talk? But when I give you a good point, you get angry and you won't.
Whoa, Tom, hold on, Tom. You didn't give me a point.
No.
I gave me a point.
You try to bully everybody.
Tom,
I was not.
You didn't give me a point. I gave me a point. You gave me nothing.
Oh.
I gave a point because you couldn't answer the question. So since I was good, he hung up. So since I was arguing with myself anyway, Tom, I just argued with myself. Super simple. You gave me nothing. I had to give you the answer. What do you mean? Be so fucking for real, dude. Do we need to play the tape back of me having to answer the question for you because you couldn't? Golly. Like, brother, these people. I don't get it, dude. Why call into a show if you don't want to actually have a debate? Sayer Nightmare, do you have any Black Panther book recommendations for their history? Like, not off the top of my head, but genuinely just read Fred Hampton. Like, that's where I would always suggest that you start. Start on Fred Hampton. $100 likes. Yeah, you guys can do better on the likes, YouTube. Don't complain about views with the likes so low. Come on, dog. We won't even get into the fact that his definition, or his thing typically associated with phenotypical expression of the sex of female, means that any trans woman who's gone through medical affirming care would classify as women under his view. So to argue trans women are not women when your own defining characteristic of woman includes like hundreds of trans women is really stupid. But that's something that I fucked up at the end there. I will give him that. He got me to give him the point for him. What I've been trying to do is make sure that if I don't get an answer in debates, that I stop. I essentially stopped giving them the answer. And I was doing good up until one point when I did fucking give him the answer. Because the problem is I'm just debating myself in half of these calls. Because they've not thought their process through enough. You know? They've not thought their process through enough to be able to argue once you get them off of their script. So truly, I found now that like one of the best counters to the trans woman claim is just ask them why we ought to define women in this way. It's like a really good counter position. Why ought we define woman like this? Why ought we define man like this? And their claim will go back to, well, this is the best, or what the answer should be, typically from them, is going to be some form of, I'm tired. Jesus Christ, you hear my voice? It's so bassy today. It's going to be some form of, well, we ought to define woman this way because it's the best way to categorize these things, but it's not actually when you dig into it. No, my voice is just tired, dude. Should get more water. (219-327-8005). If you can put up an actual debate, that would be great. No, I think a video on why the government was so afraid of Fred Hampton is a fucking genius idea, and I'm absolutely going to begin working on it. Because it's true. Like, they were fucking terrified of the guy. Yeah, just YouTube. If there's people you don't like to see in the comments, just block them. It's real easy. If there's anybody who wants to know like a bit more about Fred Hampton, I don't know, I never watched it, but was that Judas and the Black Messiah movie any good? Yeah, I never got a chance to see it. Maybe we'll watch that for movie night. I had to dip out on that last call. How did it go? I debated myself because homie wasn't giving any answers to a single question. No, the Plattner thing did not affect the Democrat wave coming into. China sentences official to death for taking a 325 million bribe. China might got a point. I think I staunchly have figured out that I would either call myself an ethical socialist or an ethical communist. And when I say that, I want a different phrasing though. I want a different word for it. It's basically looking at dialectical materialism, but from an ethics standpoint as well. Because I just really like ethics as a viewpoint on these things. It's why I have the argument that capitalism is inherently unethical because it creates a system of coercion and exploitation. But I don't like the name ethical socialist or ethical communist. I want a different name. Like I'm not sure what I would call it. I've not seen I Love Boosters yet. Not seen it yet. Boots Riley was at the socialism conference last year, but I didn't get a chance to go to his speech last year. I don't know if he's going to be at this year's. I think he is going to be at this year's too. I don't know. I don't remember. I haven't looked at all the people that are going to be at this year's conference. I gotta get my hotel. Did you hear about the upcoming live action remake of Ferngully? We did that already. It was called Avatar. And Dances with Wolves. And Avatar 2. And Avatar 3. Is it true? Slight spoiler. I didn't watch Fire and Ash because I just don't care anymore. But is it true they killed Jake Sully? They really killed Jake Sully? Brother. How dare you kill that white man, blue man? Damn spoiler. I don't know if it's true or not. I didn't watch the fucking movie. Oh, he's not dead. Oh, I heard he died. When is Jimmy and Lawyer Mike? Who's Lawyer Mike? I know Professor Mike. That's never happening. He fucking pussied out. Sorry. I know some of you don't like when I use the P word. It's just fun to say. There are some words that are just, they roll off the tongue so well. He testicled out isn't as funny. He dicked out, that's okay. He nutted out, that one's good. I'm okay that I'm more happy that Jake Sully's not dead. He's my favorite action character because he's the only one whose name I've remembered for all these years. There's John McClane and Jake Sully, and I couldn't name you another, maybe John Wick, but that's because the movie's called John Wick. Ron, you're missing out on the hottest avatar. Isn't the hottest avatar? I had a dream that the avatars all turned to people. And Zoe Saldana avatar had, what's that skin condition where parts of your skin will have no melanin? It was a weird dream. I haven't watched Avatar in like months. Why did I have that dream? It's all coming back to me now that I had this dream. What the fuck was this dream? Why did I randomly have a dream that all the Avatar people turned to human? Did I miss the daily obsession conversation? No, but I'm vindicated because so many people are like, no, Jovan, spoiler alert for obsession, mute yourselves and I'll tell you when to unmute. So many people were like, no, Jovan, he didn't know until the phone call. No, because in the diner scene, when she goes, I love you, he literally repeats back his wish to her. That is 100% an acknowledgement if he knows what the fuck is going on. And then when she goes, is everything okay? He goes, yeah, it's perfect. He so fucking literally knows that the wish worked at that point. So fucking literally knows the wish worked at that point. And then he fucks her. Fuck you, bear. Sorry. End rant. I moved my camera with that. I will give you, he didn't know in the bedroom. Like the first, I will give you that. I will give you, he didn't know when she was when he was in the car and she was, I will give you all of that. You could, if you want to argue he didn't know at those points, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. When I talked to Dean yesterday and he used it as an example of how to run a responsible stream, he said it would be impossible for him because your audience is so small. Did Dean say that shit? It would be impossible for him to run a responsible stream because of the size of his audience? That's stupid as shit if he said that. No. Okay, so here's the thing. I will say he actually didn't take advantage of her being manic, because he's like, no, I'm asleep on the floor. You ain't in the right space. Then he goes to Ian the next day and is like, something's up. I don't think she's okay. Then immediately after, he takes advantage of her in a manic state. I don't watch Dean's stream, so I don't know what he said. I don't really necessarily care. But yeah, spoilers over. We're done with the obsession talk. I'm so happy with this, by the way. No, I think it's sorry, one more thing. I think it's super reasonable that he did not know that this magic wish happened in the first night. But by their date, he literally verbalizes that he knows that it worked. And if somebody wants to send me I'll see what Dean actually said. Like, I don't mind if he's being taken out of context. I don't really necessarily care if he said it in the first place. But I do think if he said anything along the lines of he can't run a responsible stream, that I would say is horseshit. It's lighter looking than I expected. Oh, like weight wise. I mean, it's still plastic. It's the officially licensed Nintendo one. It's called Proplica. It's officially licensed by Nintendo, which is why I picked it up. I do still want like a metal one, but the problem is most of the metal ones are way thinner. So my thing with why I've always because I've gone to swap meets, like, which is where I got my Blades of Chaos up there, where I've seen, where I've seen these, but they're so thin. And I'm like, the Master Sword is not a thin blade, and they're shorter. The Master Sword is fairly long. Like, it's almost the size of Link when he's holding it. So that's why I went with this. I also just like to have officially licensed things sometimes. Dean said the higher the view counts, the more likely to get banned by bad callers. Well, that's because he debates on TikTok. Stop debating on TikTok. There you go. Easy answer. Why do you think I don't debate on TikTok? The amount of times I used to get banned on that fucking app, bro. I really should have a movie podcast. I see like everything. This is the Master Sword, yeah. Sean, do you like anime? Love it. You couldn't hold it if it was that heavy. Well, I think Link probably has some form of a larger strength base than we do. Do you know why Odu Jovan isn't on TikTok? That makes so much sense. Yeah, why would I be on TikTok anymore? The fucking app sucks. Look, it's working for him. He's pulling in like 20,000 viewers a stream, making fucking thousands of dollars a stream, doing what he does. Good for him. I also just like, here's my thing, and I'm totally like, do whatever you need to, like, you know, to make your money, I guess. Like, I'm not going to complain about somebody in capitalism doing what they got to make their money unless they're millionaires. But here's like, one of my things is like, Dean just debates the Trump topic mostly. Like, I am gearing, like, I want to also debate capitalism. I also want to debate gender. Like, look, and no tea, no shade. If he and Parker want tips, they can come to me and ask. I don't necessarily like their anytime I've seen clips of their gender debates, not a big fan of their arguments on it. Just not a big fan. I do think that they are very good Trump debaters. Like, no tea, no shade. Like, even if I'm not a fan of like some of their takes, like, I wouldn't argue that they can't debate the shit out of Trump stuff, because they can. And the one big thing, I don't know if they still do it, but Dean, if you're watching this, the one thing, can you just save the thank yous for the suit, for the gifts and the Venmos and the Cash Apps till after the debate is done? That's like my biggest complaint, is getting interrupted mid-debate with, yo, thank you for this super. I don't know if they still do it because I haven't seen it. I haven't watched their debates in probably like a year, but like, that's my one big thing. Wonder what they'll do with it once he's gone. Yeah, because I know as soon as he's gone, like, will switch to the next president, bro. I will switch to the next president. Like, let's say fucking Harris ends up in office. It will be, hey, let's argue about whether or not we think Harris is doing a good job. I had debates about shit Biden was doing. Oh, okay. And I did not like when he didn't know what Abu Ghraib was, but I like, one of my big nuts is U.S. imperialism. And I think everybody who debates in any semblance of the term should know about U.S. imperialism much more than they do. That's why when I was at that creator conference, which I do like, the internet, there are a few things that I think the internet is really like stupid on. Like, so many people were talking about this creator conference, like, look at all this blah blah blah. The conference was mostly to teach people about platforms they don't use. Like, I'll be so for real with you, it was so much technical shit. So there was a YouTube session. So I went to that because I'm like, okay, well, I'm on YouTube and I want to ask some very like specific questions. You know what I mean? Like, I want some very specific tool questions about, hey, when will this tool release? Because I use YouTube daily and I need this tool to finally come out of fucking testing so I can have access to it. And a lot of people were asking the YouTube people like, oh, well, how can I avoid not getting blocked for sensitive subjects? I'm like, homie, YouTube don't give a fuck. Bro, you can say damn near anything on this app. They don't care. And as long as it's not in the first 60 seconds of a video, neither do advertisers. I'm gonna be so upfront with you. They don't give a fuck. Instead, I was like, oh, well, when is this multi-streaming tool gonna come? Oh, how are you gonna fix this little thing? Are you gonna do? Because I'm like, I'm in the ecosystem. I wanna know about these things. Like, look, I don't know, because I've watched Dean's Jubilee stuff. I haven't watched any of Parker really recently, so I know Dean's argument style from his Jubilee videos. I think he does a good job on his Jubilee stuff. I'm not gonna sit here and say he doesn't. I'm more of a leftist than them, and they lean a little Dem, and I don't really like the liberalness of that shit. I mean, and this was years ago. I don't know if it's changed, but at one point I was going to debate Dean on communism and he didn't know what the global South was. So I was just like, oh, well, if you don't have if you don't have a foundational understanding of these things, there's not much to debate on because you're coming at it from like how many times have you guys been like, Jovan, will you debate this one topic? And I say no, because I don't have the foundation of it yet. So I'm not going to debate something. I didn't debate the Iran war for like 2 weeks because I needed to have a better foundation, not just on the war, but the things that led up to the war. So like the coup in the 50s and the rise of the Shah and the ousting of the socialist Iranians and how the religious right in Iran rose to power because of us, by the way. So I had to get a foundational understanding of those before I could debate that topic effectively. because I can just repeat talking points all day and all night, but like, I don't want to do that in a debate. I want to be able to understand what I'm talking about. Yesterday you mentioned how racist Cubans left Cuba to places like Florida. Can you explain a little more about how Castro went about kicking certain elements out of Cuba? Yeah, Castro essentially, and you can look it up, it's the first great migration of Cuba. Castro essentially gave a lot of wealthy plantation owners a choice. It was stop being racist. Well, initially it was stop being racist or I'll kill you. I won't even lie to you. Castro was fully ready to take them out, but then was convinced like, we'll just let them leave. And then he was like, I'm going to take your property either way. You can stay if you agree to cut the racism, and they didn't. So they left. But you can look it up. It's the first great migration of Cuba. There's a book that's really good on it. Let me see if I can find it. I won't even argue like I read the book all the way through, but from what I did read, it was actually very good. That being said, there are some things about Castro I'm not a fan of. Like, he was pretty anti-LGBTQ. To the point that he expressed regret about how staunchly anti-LGBTQ he was later in life. Here it is. 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 Not Blacks, but Citizens, Race, and the Transformation of Cuban Politics from 1959 to 1961. That's a good book on, like, to get a basics on this. Or is it even a book? It might just be an article, like a journal. That's what I meant to say, a journal. It might just be a journal. I had gotten a what's the word? Like, I had read like an excerpt out of it in an article I was reading about it. So I was like, oh, that seems like a good book, but I don't think it was a book, actually. It was just a journal. But yeah, Cuba fucking sucked back then. Like it was essentially slave labor. Like, we don't talk about it enough, but it was essentially slave labor. We got some call screening right now. I feel like I did not get enough sleep last night. Yo, if y'all know of good pillows, drop them in the fucking Discord. I need a better pillow, and I've yet to been able to find a pillow that I like that's not $500 fucking dollars. I'm not spending $500 on a fucking pillow, bro. Oh yeah, no. If I were to do like a live debate in Miami, it would 100% be Cuba is better than it was when it was full of racists, because they would hate it. I'm a side sleeper. I hate sleeping on my back. I don't understand how y'all do that. That shit is dookie. Amanda, thank you for the Venmo. Said that's not what Nicholas said. He should screen calls like you. He can't. He's on TikTok. Caller was a dumb fuck. Well, even that's not true. He could if he just stopped. Dean could screen calls if he just did a call in line instead of TikTok guest requests, which would take him would cost him like a percentage of the money he makes. But whatever. Maya, thank you for super chat. Magger, too scared to call. Hashtag fuck ice. True. I just need a good, like, fuck, dude. My fucking pillow sucks, bro. We also are working on some new merch. One of the ideas that I had for merch is a shirt that says shit, what did it say? I sent it to Grace so that they can come up with some mock-ups for it. It's a shirt that says server farms grow nothing. I can't think of a design to go with it. So I gave them the quote, and they're going to because I like that quote, server farms grow nothing. I like that quote. Server with a dead flower coming out of it. Brilliant. Good idea. I'm thinking of doing this on like a white, like it's almost handwritten. Joanna hates computer. Computer. I know that guy does a New York accent when he does it, but I like to be like computer. I also can't believe it's gonna become a meme that I pretty consistently forget to unmute the first caller. The fuck is wrong with me, bro? All right, let's take, we got a couple calls, so let's start with the debate, and then we'll answer the office hours one a little bit after that. Coming up to stream, we have Michael. Michael calling from Florida to talk about topic number 6. Michael's going to tell us that he believes God is real. Michael, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
Hey, Michael. I am 33. I'm sorry. How's it going? My name is Michael. I'm 33. And before I move forward, I'm going to say a series of words that may trigger a feeling within you to come at me. I'm just hoping
Can you just answer the question, dog? What? Can you just answer the question, bro?
Conversation.
Please.
I am a Christian, straight, married, white male. 33, Florida.
Okay, that didn't answer the question. None of that answered the question I asked. Can you?
Question?
Your pronouns.
He, him.
There we go. That answered the question. Thank you. Okay, Michael. I believe Christianity to be a false belief system. You believe Christianity and God are real. Can you provide me compelling argument for why?
So there was a topic before. It was systemic racism. I think it would be wise for us to agree before we go into discussion about opposite beliefs. Can we go on that first? The systemic racism stance that you hold.
Why didn't you tell the screener you wanted to talk about that?
I did, but that's a conversation for you and her later.
Okay, what do you want to talk about in regards to systemic racism?
So your stance is that it's rooted in everybody, correct?
Is that it's rooted in everybody? What are you talking about?
So what's your stance on systemic racism?
That it exists.
Okay. And it exists in who?
In systems.
Systems? What systems?
Every system that operates our country. Hence why I called it systemic racism, not interpersonal racism.
So I would say government, I think then, right?
Government is one system. We have a system
maybe
of
schools.
governance. Education is a
There you
second
go.
system. We have an education system, yes.
Family, is that another system?
Family
That
is
you
not a
were
system
saying?
that runs this country now. There's
Okay.
no family system that runs the country.
Okay, but you don't think that there's a set of rules that come from a family household?
Well, I don't know what
that
that would have to do with systemic racism.
run like the government and in
I don't know.
churches and education?
I don't know how that point A would get us to systemic racism, which sits at end B. So I don't know how you get from A to B on that.
So I agree with you. And the reason why I agree with you is because I started this call with a series of trigger words. White Christian straight male provoked a feeling of hate, and it hit more thoughts. It was an algorithm that triggered a response from you.
I quite
nothing-
literally, Michael, all I said when you said that was that it did not answer the question I asked you. That's it.
But
That's
you
all
cut
I
me
said.
off and got rude, and
Because you
changed your
didn't
demeanor.
answer the question I asked you.
Yeah. So
I do
we're
get
gonna go
rude
back
when
to
people
systemic
don't
racism.
answer the question I asked them. So I don't know if you expected this gotcha, but you didn't answer my question. So I responded
I'm
to
not here.
none of that answered the
I'm not
question
here.
that I asked, which you didn't do.
I know you may try to get a gotcha out of me with
Do I need
maybe
to
one of your
I can replay the tape.
nurses or
Would you like me to replay the tape?
but let's
I can
just
easily replay
continue
the
at the
tape.
topic. We
Well,
both
no, why
agree
don't I
that
just
systemic-
replay the tape?
Okay. You
Well,
want
'cause
to?
you're
Want to know
saying-
why?
You're saying that I got triggered off of you saying this thing. All I did was say you didn't answer the question I asked. I was more triggered by you not answering a question directly than I was with any of the
What I'm
shit you said.
saying
I don't care about the stuff you said. So if you'd like to, I can
Algorithms of
replay the tape and we can judge whether I was triggered or not.
over time through repetition.
I don't care
creates an
about that. If you'd like to, we can replay the tape and we can see if I was triggered by it.
I think you're getting off topic. Let's go into Christianity.
I'm getting off topic? You quite literally
Yeah.
jumped to topic 2 when you called in about topic 6.
Okay, so let's go to topic
But sure,
6.
I'm off topic. You're right. No
I
problem.
wanted
Sure.
to agree with you. I wanted to agree with you before we went to topic 6.
You didn't.
on
You
something.
expected somebody to. You expected the triggered, and when I didn't get triggered, now you're sitting there like, oh shit, what do I do now? He didn't actually get triggered by my sentence.
It was to explain something bigger than that, and I was getting to
Something
my
that didn't
point, but
work.
you just kept cutting me off.
Something
Let's
that
go
didn't work.
Let's
Great. Do you have a compelling argument for why God is real?
Do I have a compelling argument for why God is real?
Yep.
So I think you're wording your question a little wrong. The past few months, these YouTube lives have come, it was nice, funny music videos to all of a sudden people preaching that there's no God. So my belief, from my perspective, growing up, it used to be crazy Catholics
I must be in
preaching
the
about
Twilight
the
Zone.
And
I must be in the Twilight Zone right now. I gotta be.
People that don't believe
Is this
in
Ashton
God
Kutcher?
that are
Am I being
preaching-
punked?
That are preaching
You Ashton Kutcher,
that
ain't
there is
you?
no
Is you Ashton?
But
Is you
do
punking
you
me?
see that?
Is you punking me? Is you Ashton?
I
don't care about. I don't care
think
about
we're
Michael.
probably close in age.
Michael, I don't care about any of that. I just want to know if you have a compelling argument for God's existence or not.
But you're looking for an answer to God, and that's only revealed when you have faith in Him. So you're relying on man to give you answers that man fucking can't question. You have to only get it through faith.
Oh, my
It's
bad.
only
I didn't know that
revealed
you
through
were.
faith. So
I didn't
you're
know you were
asking
submissive.
one
My bad.
question to
No,
you're asking
Michael.
one
Apologies.
question, and it's not
Apologies.
that-
I did not realize you were a sub. I didn't realize you were submissive. I don't take things on faith. If God is a real property of the universe, we should have some type of evidence that this real property of the universe exists. There should be either evidence or there should be a compelling argument for his existence. If you don't have
Well,
any,
let's start with evidence.
then cool, but I'm not going to believe something because you say, trust me.
Well, let's start with evidence then. How
Great.
about
What
the
is your
Bible?
The Bible is a claim. The Bible is not evidence.
Okay. So what about any prophecy that was fulfilled?
No prophecies were fulfilled.
Mm-hmm. So what if I gave you two verses that mirrored each other from the New Testament and the Old Testament?
Since the New Testament was written after the Old Testament, it would make sense that there's stuff because the Old Testament or the New Testament writers grew up on the Old Testament. So it would make total sense that there are mirrors. Just like if I write a sequel to a book, there are going to be things from the first book in that sequel, right? Because I'm writing it after. Now, if you can show me where the Old Testament very clearly lays out a prophecy that is fulfilled by Jesus in the New Testament, cool, but those don't exist.
Okay.
Which prophecy would you like to go with?
Are you familiar with the Bible at all? Like, or do you
Sure
just have
am.
like a few?
Sure am. Which prophecy would you like to go with?
Let's go Euphrates.
Euphrates. Which one?
The Euphrates River drying up, releasing the 4 horsemen.
Are you sure that's the one you want to go with? You positive?
100%.
Great. So the specific passage you're talking about is Isaiah 11:15, correct?
It's a combination of Isaiah and Revelation. Here, let me pull it up.
Well,
So
the prophecy
it has to
specifically
be-
is in Isaiah 11:15. You could go with, I
Yeah,
guess you could
but
go with
they're-
Revelation 16:12, but like Revelation 16:12 isn't the
These are
prophecy.
both.
We're talking
Yeah, but you
specifically
use
about
both.
what, yes, but we need to be
You use
looking at
Old
the
and New.
language of the prophecy.
The language of the prophecy. Then you have to look up Aramaic. You have to look up Hebrew. You have to look up Greek, and then you have to
No,
put it with a Latin.
you actually don't have to look up Greek at all to know the language of Isaiah, because Greek was not used in the writing of Isaiah. Isaiah was strictly written in
Are you
Hebrew and
sure?
Aramaic. Yes.
Are you positive?
Yes, 100%.
So the Byzantines didn't conquer Israel, and
Are you talking about what
Orthodox
happened
Church was
after
formed?
Isaiah was written when they made the Septuagint?
So I don't think you know your kingdoms.
I don't think you
the
know
land.
Isaiah was not written in Greek.
Okay.
The
Isaiah was
original
not written
text
in
of
Greek.
Isaiah was Hebrew.
The Bible was written in Greek.
Nope,
version
you're
of the
talking
Bible,
about the Septuagint.
It was the Greek Orthodox.
You're talking about the
Byzantines that
Septuagint.
Israel.
You are currently right now talking about the
After
Septuagint,
Saul,
which is
Solomon,
when the Bible was translated into Greek, because a bunch of the Hebrew people that existed at the time didn't speak traditional Hebrew. So it was translated to Greek. So I don't need to know the Greek if I know the original Hebrew translations. Why would I need to know the Greek?
There's also Aramaic.
So then I don't need to know Greek, like I said.
Yeah, well, I think it's important because it shows the perspective from those people who wrote it.
I don't care. Nope. None of the people who wrote Isaiah wrote it in Greek. It was translated into Greek. If I were to hold on. Let's take this real simple. Let's say I was a person who spoke Chinese, and I ended up with a Spanish translation of Harry Potter. Now, what would help me understand the story more? To go to the person who translated Harry Potter into Spanish, or to go learn the language Harry Potter was written in, which was English, and talk to the people that wrote it in English?
Right.
That's what you're telling me, is that I should actually go to the translator, and that's where I'm going to get the most clarity. No, you only need to know the original Hebrew of the text that Isaiah is talking about.
Okay, so what does it say?
So sure, we'll go through all of Isaiah. We're looking at Isaiah 11:15. The Lord will utterly destroy the tongue of the sea of Egypt and will wave his hand over the river with his scorching wind and strike it into 7 channels, and he will lead his people across in sandals. The 7 channels thing never happens.
Okay. I didn't hear you phrase anywhere in that sentence.
Because Euphrates didn't happen yet when Isaiah was written. Isaiah doesn't mention
well,
Euphrates.
so let's pull up the verse that does.
He said, so let's pull up the verse. The original prophecy is the one I just read you. That's the original prophecy. The Lord will utterly destroy the tongue of the sea of Egypt and will wave his hand over the river with a scorching wind and strike it into 7 channels, and he will lead people across in sandals. Both of the things it claims that happened didn't happen. The river was not split. The sea was not split into 7 channels, and people did not lead across the sea in sandals. Those things did not happen. So now what you're doing is you're trying to do a confirmation bias where, like, well, I believe this was a prophecy, so let me find a later verse that tells me it was a prophecy. Instead of
maybe
looking at the actual prophecy and trying to see if the actual prophecy did happen or not.
You just want to pull up the Revelation one and we can take a look at them both together. That'd be great. I mean, just keep the
Brother, this is the funniest religious call I've had in a long time. Thank you for that. I needed this laugh. This is fucking hilarious. So, which one do you want to put? Do you want to do Revelation 16:12? Is that what you want? Nobody can hear what you just said.
Yes, please.
Right. The 6th angel poured out his bowl on the great river Euphrates, and its water was dried up to prepare the way for the kings from the east. Then I saw 3 impure spirits that looked like frogs. They came out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. They are demonic spirits that perform signs. They go out to the kings and the whole world to gather them from the battle on the great day of God Almighty.
Let's so here, let me actually do something here. Let me look it up. All right, so we're trying to find a verse that mentions the Euphrates. What happens when it dries?
This motherfucker don't know his book. This motherfucker don't know his book. By the way, the Euphrates River is still flowing, by the way. It has not dried up. I hate to be that guy.
Yeah, but
it's not dried up.
I hate to be that guy.
Just want you to know. When it says the Euphrates and its waters was dried up, that didn't happen. There have been some droughts that have happened, which has led to like water in parts of the river being dry, but the river itself did not dry.
Are there any studies showing that the river is going to dry up soon?
No.
Science? And
there
images?
There are studies that the river is doing what all water sources on the planet have done, which is dried up due to specific climate changes. But that's most water sources on the planet are smaller now than they used to be.
If you look at the Iraq, it shows an actual date, and
we also know that there's periods of high flooding, like literally this year, heavy rains have flooded the Euphrates. My God, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, homie. And then there's the second part of the prophecy. There's the second part of the prophecy, right? Which is that the people will cross the river, which again didn't happen.
Because I'm going to uncover a lie that you believe. So you believe that the Euphrates received flooding, and I'm telling you that's the Tigris, and you're misinformed. Look it up.
You think the Euphrates hasn't flooded in 2026? This year?
No, look it up.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't. You're telling me that in May, of this year, the Euphrates River did not flood.
Look it up.
Great. So when I prove you, just real quick, do you want to make a bet on this? $25 bet.
How about? Okay, I will send you $5.
No, 25. 25.
I will send you $5, but I don't want money from you.
I want
if
money.
I'm right,
$25.
If I'm right, you get to ask a question that nobody else is asking. You get to ask a different question. Okay?
I don't want to ask a different question. I want money.
All right, let's look it up. The Tigris.
Wait, are you agreeing that you will pay me money if you lose this bet?
I will pay you money.
Beautiful. We got an agreement, chat. We got an agreement. Hey, everybody, I need everybody to look at the screen for me for one big second. I need everybody's eyes on the screen. I'm going to read, and I quote, flooding from Euphrates River damages homes and prompts evacuations in Syria. This is from May of this year. Water levels of the Euphrates River in northern and eastern Syria rose over the past 2 days, causing flooding. That was May 26, 2026. So my Cash App and Venmo are in my bio. They're also on the screen. I will be awaiting that money, and the debate will not continue any further until the money is deposited into my account.
Well, that's not fair because you didn't. You only went from the first source, and that was your source.
The AP News, which was a report on the flooding. Should we watch a video of the water currently flooding in the Euphrates that's playing on the screen right now? Should we watch a video of the water that's flooding? Wow. So the money can be deposited into my account. I will be waiting. We will not continue the debate until the money is deposited into my Cash App or my Venmo, which are both on screen.
Okay, give me a second.
Is everybody I talk to today going to be that, like, this stupid? I just really need to know. Like, on God, I need to know.
Excuse me. Okay. All right, here it is. NASA satellite imagery documents major in water levels connected to the Euphrates system. September 25th, 2025.
I don't know why we would be talking about September 25th, 2025 when I said it flooded this year in 2026 in May. And I gave you the source from May. And I played the video from May from AP News. What about, should I use another source? Should I use another source? I can use another source. I can use another source.
Ancient archaeological remains have resurfaced in some lower water areas. Do you believe that there's been structures uncovered beneath the Euphrates or no?
Sorry, structures?
Yes. Ancient structures.
What structures were... no, actually, like I said, we're not moving forward until the money is deposited into my account. You almost got me there. Okay. You almost got me to continue the debate. Waiting on the Cash App or Venmo.
I mean, you're wrong, so you don't get it.
Okay, goodbye. I don't need to talk to people that welch on their bets. If you want to come back up and speak, Cash App and Venmo. If you don't do that, you will not be given a chance to speak. I'm wrong that the Euphrates River flooded when I showed videos of the flooding. Unbelievable. I'll tell the 10,000 people that were displaced because of the flooding that no, guys, Michael says it didn't happen. I know that 10,000 of you were displaced, but no, Michael said that flooding wasn't true. Here's Global Flood Awareness System. You know what? Let's just do this. Here's the Global Flood Awareness System talking about the flooding along the Euphrates River in Syria in May 2026. What other ones should we do? Relief Web talking about the Syria floods in May 2026. Syrian Network for Human Rights talks about the Euphrates flooding in 2026. How many more should we do? United Nations talking about the flash flooding in Syria in May of 2026. Here's photos of the Euphrates River flood in Syria in 2026. Fuck off, Michael. You got caught in a lie, and then you weaseled out of a bet you made because you're fucking terrified. Eat dog shit, bro. Fucking cowards, dude. He almost got me too. He almost got me to move on with the debate. Jovan said you almost had me monologuing. True. True. Oh wait, I read that one already. William Mate said you can't sell your mod, Jovan. Pillow is a good boy. Oh shit. Mick Carney on Super Chat said ant farm over server farm. Building fins up said Michael is, as a Christian, you are representing us horribly. Well, he also lied, which is a sin. William Mate said you forgot subs have the truest power. Frost King said Michael is broke. L caller, honor your commitments. Sort of Neil said Jovan sending CBS receipts. Just do me a favor, bro. Just don't call in if you're drunk. Yeah, but was I triggered because he was a white, straight Christian male? Didn't that trigger me so much? When I went, can you answer the question? That I was so triggered, guys, when I asked him to answer a question. So triggered. Where did I leave off on Super or on Twitch stuff? Delphinius Deem, subscribe with Prime. Thank you so much. Chips, thank you for the sub with Prime. Celadry, thank you for the sub at tier 1. Tricky Nia. I forgot how to say your name. Sorry. Thank you for the sub for 15 months. Scott Bushman, thank you for the Prime sub. King Puffs, thank you for the Prime sub. GFC, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Hi King Danielle, thank you for the Prime sub. Marmel, thank you for the Prime sub. Linkcifer, thank you for the Prime sub over on Twitch. Joel said, I use a pillow cube, not sponsored. Pretty good options. I've never seen the pillow cube. But have you guys considered nah-uh? Because that was Michael's argument. Have you considered nah-uh? Have you considered nah-uh? Jenna buying a bike? No, but I am saving the money that I got for the bike to get an e-bike. It's just they're way more expensive. So the e-bike's like $1,400. So I'm just going to save up and hopefully get an e-bike. Because I'm going to spend money on a bike anyway. I'm going to get the e-bike. So I think I can probably get that next month. Oh, I got to add a note to Michael's call. So in case he ever calls back, if callback owes Jovan money for losing bet. Got it. All right, let's take the next call. Coming up next is Jacob calling from California. Jacob from California to talk about topic number 4, gender affirming care saves lives. Jacob, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
I am 22 and my pronouns are he, him.
Okay, Jacob, 22, he, him. Now, Jacob, I believe gender affirming care saves lives, both minor and adult. Do you disagree? And if so, why?
Well, first off, I do want to say I'm very much punching above my weight, and I really am coming here in good faith, open to being wrong.
Damn, Jacob, did you just call me fat?
I'm coming. What was that? I'm sorry.
Did you just call me fat, Jacob? Damn. Nah, I'm just kidding.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
Okay. So it is just based on the reason I'm calling my experiences I've had with friends, and just like some interesting things that have happened to me that make it weird to me. I would say I'm mostly calling from like the position of I don't understand why it's something allowed for minors, and it could be out of ignorance from my own perspective. So I'd say I'm mostly calling in because I had 2 friends growing up that had gender affirming surgeries as minors that later regretted it, which has put me in the position where I don't think minors should be allowed to make such a permanent decision to their body. If they're 18 years old, I think.
What surgeries did they have and at what ages?
So one of them, she had I don't know the name of it, but her breasts were removed,
Top
and
surgery.
then top surgery, yes, and I think she was 14 or 15 when she had that one. And then my other friend, they were male and they had their penis removed, I think 16 or 17.
Your friend had bottom surgery at 16 or 17?
Yeah.
I find that doubtable, but even if I operate under the premise that it did happen, uh,
Hmm.
your friends might have regret. It's quite possible. There are regret rates in
Yeah.
anything, but the regret rate for
Hmm.
gender affirming surgeries, both top and bottom, are 3% and under. So, like, even if your friends
Really?
did regret it, yeah, even if your friends do regret it, okay, but that's not going to make me go 97% of people should now be without this care. But typically,
Sure.
they don't even allow bottom surgery on people until they're 18. There are some cases, if your friend was
Well,
able to be
I
in the
haven't
some
seen it,
case
so
vein, but
yeah, that's sorry. I don't if I interrupt you at any point. It feels like there's like a little bit of delay, so sorry if I interrupt you. That's just what I was told. So, you know, if there's like some law or anything why that didn't happen, then obviously it didn't. But that's what he told me, that he had surgery and whatnot, and that he regretted it. So yeah, I guess it's just confusing to me, like, so 3%, that does seem pretty low, but it to me it seems weird that it's like the one thing where it is, and like I said, I could be very well just ignorant to this, and that's why I'm open to hear, is like it seems like a rare thing where it's like a huge decision that a minor is allowed to make, where like other things they're not, with like, for example, I actually recently just talked to a doctor interested in getting a vasectomy at 22 years old, and um, it's actually extremely difficult to do that at my age because of regret or something like that, and how usually you have to be 25 and older at least to get a vasectomy, and that isn't as major of a surgery. So I think it's just interesting to me, like, why there's certain things like that, why it's not like, okay, I'm an adult, I should be allowed to get a vasectomy at any time, where minors making a more major surgery are allowed to decide. I don't know. What are your thoughts on like something like that? Do you think like they shouldn't be doing that with me, or do you think like, I don't know, is what I'm saying like make sense? Like, why is there so
I
like
mean,
why is drinking something that like a 16-year-old can't decide
but these are
on,
two. These are
less
we. So
permanent?
just one big thing. We let kids make permanent decisions constantly. I mean, most
Sure,
kids
sure.
pick out the college they're going to go to when they're 15, 16. They get fucking
That's true.
into debt. I would say taking out a
Oh yeah.
student loan is a way bigger life-changing thing than most medical affirming care. If somebody under the age of 18 gets pregnant, they get to decide which life-changing measure they take, whether you're having the kid or not. And then we let them
Yeah.
keep the kid.
It's true.
We'll let 16-year-olds
Yeah.
be parents. So it's just a weird thing to me when we're like, well, they're not mature enough to make these choices, but they're mature enough to raise a child.
Yeah, yeah, and I also would say that that's I think a lot of people like being inconsistent and hypocritical with their view, but I would say that I would even disagree with that, where it's like they shouldn't be allowed to raise a child if they're a child in themselves.
Then would you like force them
And
to have an abortion or force them to give the
I
child
don't
up? Because
know.
that's
I
also a
I
life-changing
don't know.
decision.
I really don't know. That's such a difficult thing that
And
I've never known somebody. Yeah.
when it comes to
Go
vasectomies, the
ahead.
regret rate for that is between 2 to 10%. I think if a doctor is like, "Well, I don't want to do this because you might regret it," I would tell that doctor to stop projecting. Like, you're
Yeah,
projecting onto
apparently
me
it's like,
your thing. Stop that.
when I Googled it too, apparently that's like a very common thing, where if someone comes in for a vasectomy, if you're under the age of 25, most doctors actually don't do it, which is
Yeah,
kind of interesting to
this
me.
isn't something I've heard before though, so I can only take your word for it.
Yeah, this is new to me too, so I don't really know, to like, because I just thought I would be able to go in and they'll be like, okay, sounds good, and then they made me fill out all this paperwork, and the doctor
Look,
saying he's not sure if he wants to do it, and all
it's
sorts
real
of things
simple. When we
for
look
that
at the
sole reason.
data, just when we look at the data on gender affirming care, gender affirming medical care, it is
Hmm.
it is irrefutable that it leads to quality of life increases, it leads to lower mental health related comorbidities, it leads to people generally being happier. Now there are the 3% of people that regret the care.
Yeah.
I'm not
Is there
gonna remove
not that
care
I
from
doubt your
97%.
statistics, but is there like a good place that you could send me to like see like statistics like
Yep.
that?
JovanBradley.com. Go to my resource section in my source document in the section on gender affirming care.
Okay, cool. And then I guess my other thing is, like I said, another thing I'm not gonna sit here and say like I'm knowledgeable about, but I've heard that there's a lot of health risks from doing certain gender affirming surgeries, or like less about the surgeries and more about like hormonal therapy, how it could cause health issues. I've heard like that
There's
it
a lot of health issues.
increases rate of cancer and things like that.
There are health issues for anything. But the people that are getting the care need to make a benefit risk analysis of the care. Both parents, doctors, and
Okay.
the person receiving the care. They go, are the benefits of this care outweighing the risks? And if they believe they do, they should have access to that care.
So pretty much you're like, yes, there is risk to it, but you gotta weigh like, are these
There's
risks
risk to
worth
everything.
like the
Every
mental
time
health?
I pop Excedrin because I have a headache, I'm like, is this the one that's going to give me liver
Yeah.
failure? I'm
Yeah,
I'm
that's me
taking a
with
risk
my
because I'm like, my head
ibuprofen, dude.
hurts.
Yeah, I relate to that. I take way too much ibuprofen every time. I'm like, is this gonna be the one that gives me an ulcer or something like that? Yeah,
Yeah, so
that's a good point.
everything in healthcare, how you weigh the benefits with the risks. I would say if your kid is like about to die today from suicide, it might be better to risk
Sure.
potentially maybe getting cancer in the future.
Gotcha. So, do you think like a lot of what makes them, and this is like I said once again from someone that, because the only two I knew that performed like care like this regretted it, so I haven't been able to see examples of people who were happy, so this is why I'm like asking it from this way. Do you think like this depression that is coming from someone, who feels like they're not in the right body and comfortable like with how they look and whatnot, do you think it is about like how much society has like played into the importance of gender, or do you think it is more of like a physical thing and not feeling happy in their body?
The
If that makes sense.
Yeah, the overwhelming evidence on the causality of mental health issues in the trans community are typically from societal and familial stigmatization. Then there's also people who are just severely stressed because they have gender dysphoria. And gender dysphoria,
Mm-hmm.
if not treated, is going to if it's severe enough, just leads you to a distress. And that distress
Yeah,
needs to be treated. We can help the comorbidities if people just stop being assholes. We can't help you can't like nice your way out of gender dysphoria. Um, but if you want more information from an actual trans source, I would call
mm-hmm.
Takis on Thursday. So on the YouTube channel The Line, which is a channel that I'm a host on, they do a
Oh,
show
I
every
just watched that the
Thursday.
other day.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. Takis is the place to call because I can give you facts and figures all day, and I can give you like what the medical
Sure.
industry says and all this. I'm not trans, so I can't help you with
Yeah, yeah.
understanding where they're coming from or anything like that. There's just like nothing I can do on that regard.
Sure, I was
But
just wanting to hear like a more knowledgeable take on it.
yeah, and I know
um
that this Thursday it's going to be Josie and Lux, both great hosts. So it's just if you want information from like as they say from the mouth of babes, that would be pun intended. That would be where you go.
Are they kind though? Because there was one time I went on the line and I pretty much just got yelled at the whole time, and
Depends on who you're calling and
and
why you're calling.
yeah,
Takis is
yeah.
very good about answering questions that people have.
Mhm.
Especially Josie. But like there are other shows where we're strictly looking for debate. So if you call in with just like questions, you're probably gonna get berated
Yeah.
because it's like we're trying to
Well,
debate
in a
people
way I'm
and
coming
Google
in with
exists.
like, okay, well this is my current position. I'm just different with other people where I'm not like, I don't claim to like like when you have all these Christians that are coming in here, they act like they know like what they're talking about, and they can't admit when they don't know what's going on. Where me, I'm like, sure, this is my current position, but this is a current position without a lot of hearing both sides. I've heard my personal story, and I haven't heard a strong opinion from both sides. Like, I'd
Yeah,
like to hear
one thing
someone
I'm
defending
pretty
strongly the other side too, you know?
yeah, one thing I'm pretty conscious about doing is not making my stance based on like the story of my friends. If I was to just take the story of my friends, I would say everyone should have gender affirming care at every single age, right? Because I have
Sure.
friends who have done the care and they're incredibly happy with their care. They're incredibly happy
Yeah.
with the results. They don't regret going through that care. Bada bing, bada boom. But I recognize
Mhm.
that like nothing's an absolute, and that there still
Yeah.
should be talk about people that do regret their care, and those people exist, which is why I'm pretty much in line with the W path on making the standards for care align with different developmental stages of puberty. And I think that is a
Mhm.
good way to go. That seems to be the way that we've minimized regret so much. Now the only thing we have to
Okay.
do is we have to fix the issue of regret from people who don't get the care, because that regret rate is way higher. The regret rate of people for accessing the care later in life is
Oh, yeah.
astronomically higher.
Is it
So
because it doesn't
that's
is it because it's not as effective when they're older, or is it,
not that well. So a
like, what
few
is the
things.
reason?
It's going to cost more. It's going to be a
Mhm.
bit more painful. So like one of the things is if you go through male puberty, you have to reverse the
Mhm.
effects of male puberty. So it's
Yeah.
going to be a
Yeah.
bit of a longer process. It can, in some cases, be a more painful process, like facial feminization surgery. It ain't no joke. Like they're
Yeah.
literally shaving parts of your jawbone in some instances. Like it's no joke. The healing from that is no joke. Whereas if you go through pubertal suppressants and HRT, you you might have some other benefits from that, or they're going to make those future things a bit easier. That's not
Mhm.
to say that it's again, there's no absolutes here. It's just recognizing it for what it is and like what it does. But primarily most people regret not getting to start earlier because like you go through, if you're already suffering gender dysphoria before puberty begins, puberty is going to exacerbate that 1,000-fold because you're already
Sure.
feeling a disconnect between your body, because you're like, well, my body's sex is not matching what my brain is telling me. And then all of a sudden now your body is jumping into overdrive to really make it not match. So it's just the case that it would appear that starting these things earlier is a lot more beneficial to people than starting them later in life.
Yeah, I guess I'm just, like, curious, like, is this a problem with the way our society functions and how we treat these people, or is it more of just the gender dysmorphia, and that is the only solution with
It
it being,
so it's gender
you know,
dysphoria, and it's
sorry,
two
sorry,
different
dysphoria,
things,
yes.
right? It's two different things. Both of them play a factor, but
They're both part of it, yeah.
gender dysphoria can be exacerbated, like, right, by people perceiving you or calling you, like, for instance, let's say you have a trans boy, and
Mhm.
everybody he talks to calls him a girl still. That can exacerbate
Yeah,
his already existing gender dysphoria. But
yeah.
if even if everybody tomorrow started calling him a girl, that gender dysphoria is still going to exist.
Yeah, I
Because
remember when,
the way I describe gender dysphoria is there's a misalignment between his internal sense of gender identity and the phenotypic representation of his sex. So because those two things are misaligned, he's feeling this
yeah,
distress. Um, I wonder if there's a good way to say this, and not like, if your teeth are misaligned and they're constantly grinding every night, that's
uh-huh,
essentially what's happening, but in your brain.
yeah.
And that's
Would
not
you
a fun
say that
experience.
would you say then that, like, the the chromosomes, like, of the person doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things then? It's really just, like,
Uh,
how the
I
person feels?
I mean, I would say chromosomes don't matter in the sense of like we don't see them. They would matter
Sure.
in the sheer sense of your chromosome, your typically your phenotypic expression of your sex happens because of an expressed SRY gene on your second chromosome. But like other
Yeah.
than that, chromosomes don't mean jack shit to most people because we don't see our chromosomes.
Yeah. I guess the main thing I've heard, like, and when I called and talked to the woman who was like the screener, I said I kind of want to talk about 4 and 5 because I that's why I'm kind of confused also, like, when you say like that trans women are women, is it the fact that it's like is it under the impression of like, oh well, it's because chromosomes don't really matter anyway, and what really matters with if someone's a woman is their expression of it? Would that be
What
like kind of the
so
reason behind it?
yes and no. So what I say
Okay.
matters when it comes to being a man or a woman is that we all have gender is an identity, and identities are self
Sure.
perceptions of ourselves. It's our internal sense of self. So what matters the most with gender identity, with gender, in my opinion, is your internal perception of yourself, and that's kind of it. Gender expression is a little different.
Mm-hmm.
Gender stereotypes are different, gender roles are different, but if we're just talking gender on its forefront, it's just an internal perception of oneself because it's an identity, which that's all identity is. And that to me is much
Yeah.
more important because functionally in society, that's how we operate anyway. And the way I like to show that is like, let's say I'm going into a bathroom, right? There's
Yeah.
nobody checking my chromosomes. There's nobody checking what's in my
Sure.
pants. The decision
Yeah.
of what bathroom I go into is just which bathroom I feel most comfortable in. I've
Yeah.
been to the women's bathroom before. One of my old jobs, they knew because the other guys in my that I was working with were disgusting. So the ladies were like, "Well, we don't care if you
Yeah.
use our bathroom. Who gives a shit?"
I re-
Right?
yeah,
So
our
like,
bathrooms suck, dude. We need to do
so
better.
yes, because men are fucking pigs. They're disgusting in bathrooms. It sickens me. But
I'm a plumber, so I see it so bad.
it's
It's so
gross.
disgusting.
Um,
So,
but
um,
that being said, um, when it comes to uh when it comes to like what gender is, it essentially comes down to a self-perception. And now we can talk all day about how we adequately define that, but like it's
mhm,
just how someone feels. Like, right? You're how like I know, for instance, that if somebody were to take my brain and put me into the body of a woman, I would feel weird.
mhm.
I'd be like, something
Sure,
does
yeah,
not feel right
same.
here. And I
Yeah.
know the treatment for that would be taking my brain and putting it back into the body of man.
Yeah.
So let trans people do that.
I guess like and I'm not trying, like, this isn't meant to, like, I just don't know how to word it any differently than this. It's like how, like, it kind of, so pretty much you're saying like ultimately the feelings matter more than like what they actually are. But I guess like that in
Well,
most
even
cases
that wouldn't be
doesn't
true because I
seem,
would say what they are is
what they
what they
are
feel.
is their feelings.
Yeah, what they are is
Yeah.
most likely going to
Well, I guess
are going to refer to
maybe it
how
is
they
just
feel about themselves. And I don't even
such a,
like to
like a
just real quick.
foreign
I don't even like to use feeling. Right? I don't even like to use feeling because feeling
it's just
implies
the
some
reality.
conscious thought. But all of this is
Sure.
subconscious. Your brain does all of this without your input.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. I guess it's just like it's weird to me when they're identifying as, like, it's not like where it's like um it's different than where it's like if you're asking somebody, oh, what is their like favorite color, and like it's like, oh well, there's nothing like internally in them that defines that whatsoever.
I like
When
to
someone's
refer.
picking your favorite
I like
color.
to analyze it. Analyze it. I like to analogize it
Hmm.
with like love. Right? What's it mean
Uh-huh.
to love somebody? Everybody has a different definition or a different defining characteristic of love. But just because the way I define or categorize love might be different than yours, I can't tell you you don't love somebody
Sure. Yeah.
unless you're bare from obsession, in which case I can absolutely say you don't love somebody.
Did you say like bear from obsession?
Yeah, then I can absolutely claim you don't love somebody. But Jacob, we
That's funny.
are I do want to get to the other callers. I
Yeah, yeah,
would, like I
sure. I
said,
appreciate your time.
give Takis a call, tell him I sent you because I sent so many people over there. But give Takis a call this Thursday so then you can get some more clarifying stuff from from trans people directly.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time.
Yep, no problem.
Yep.
I feel like that was a good call. I gotta use the bathroom real quick and get some water. So we'll take this next call when I get back. 219-327-8005 if you want to call in while we wait. But I'm gonna use the bathroom and fill my water bottle up, and then we will continue with the show. Okay. 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 All right. All right. Where were we? We got a birthday redeem over on Twitch. Heard. Who's this for? Sombra? Here goes Sombra. All right. We only have one more call on the list, so I guess we'll take it. Seems like an office hours call, so we'll see. By the name of Patriot, calling from Australia. Okay. Patriot, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
Okay.
Hello?
G'day, mate. Yeah, Aussie calling in. Not so much calling for the purposes of debate, just a little thought exercise for you about the gender affirming care topic.
All right, can I just get your age and pronouns?
Your typical male ones.
Which would be what?
He, him, and
There
I
you
think there's a few others you can use, but fucking
And your age?
he, him, I guess, yeah. Keep it simple.
You and your age?
I'm about to turn 30.
So does that mean you're 29?
Yeah, 29.
Okay, should I be worried that every question I've asked you, you haven't answered directly, or
So again?
should I be worried that everything I've asked you, you've not answered directly, or
Should I be worried
should I
everything
be worried?
I've answered or you've answered?
Should I be worried?
I just got a thought experiment for you about gender affirming care.
Oh, a thought experiment.
Basically, Dolly the sheep was in the 90s. Since then, Japan has developed a cloning-based flesh industry for meat alternates. They take a little bit of blood from the animal, and they're able to grow chicken, beef, and pork so far. And we've got technologies like the bionic eye, the bionic ear, and a little microchip that makes paraplegics walk again. I reckon if we develop both industries over the next 60 years, life insurance should be literal. When do you want a digital backup of your mind to be put into a fresh body? At which point, why wouldn't we use that for gender affirming care too?
So what's the thought experiment? Because that wasn't really a thought
Should we or
experiment.
shouldn't we invest in this, and would it not be more ethical than current methods?
Would it be more ethical to just take someone's brain that's born in the body of the sex they don't want to be and put it into the body of the sex that they want to be?
I was thinking more along the ways of making a digital copy and having a way of printing said digital copy into a replacement, but yes.
Probably really unethical to make copies of people's minds. Just gonna be honest, every movie or show I've seen about that has gone poorly. Except for San Junipero. Shout out that one really great episode of Black Mirror.
Just a thought for you. I reckon in 60 years we might be able to achieve that. And it might be a more ethical process than the hormone replacement and the physical surgeries. They just go to sleep in one body, wake up in the replacement.
Okay. I don't know what the thought experiment is here.
Development of our computer technology and cloning resources to not only make a longevity machine out of ourselves, but as a more, what would the word be? Not just ethical, but more efficient process of giving people who have gender dysphoria what they want. They wouldn't just have a cosmetic.
You know, the purpose of a thought experiment is to like challenge like complex ideas, right?
Physical opposite.
Real quick, do you know the purpose of a thought experiment is to like challenge complex ideals, right? Like this isn't really, if we create a system that makes it easier for people to transition, then yeah, let's do that. So it's not really a thought experiment, right? It's more like we've just developed the technology to do this easier. So, okay. Cool.
Just food for thought. I reckon in 60 years, with a bit of investment in cloning tech and a bit more computer science tech, we would
Sounds
be
like
able
you just
to...
really want cloning.
Well, once it gets to the point where we can clone you, why wouldn't we use the same technology to give you what you want?
I don't think we should clone people, but I don't think we should clone consciousnesses. And I also don't know that it would be effectively possible to clone a consciousness. So if it happens, it happens. But I think it'd probably be unethical to clone a consciousness.
I guess where I draw the line is on the do no harm principle.
Yeah, I think you would do harm by
I'm not a
cloning
doctor, but if
consciousnesses.
I were a doctor,
I think cloning
I couldn't be
consciousnesses
the
would
one
be
to
harmful.
euthanize you, and I couldn't be the one to give you those kind of surgeries.
Who's being
Because I don't want
euthanized?
to.
I'm sorry. Who's being
don't
euthanized?
want to be responsible for the health effects.
Who's being euthanized?
No one's being euthanized, but like that's
Okay.
where I draw the line on the Hippocratic stance.
So if somebody had a terminal
I were a
illness in
doctor,
which
I
they were
couldn't
in
do-
immense pain constantly and asked you to euthanize them, you would say no? I would absolutely say yes to that person.
I
If they
would
were in
say I can
unimaginable
help you
pain
fill
all
out the
day, every day.
forms, but you'll need a different doctor to do it.
Okay. Well, I would do it. I would give them. I would. If it ended their suffering, yeah, I would do it absolutely. There's the thought
If it
experiment
ended
for
their
you.
suffering,
That's the
it's their
actual thought
right.
experiment.
But me personally, I would not be the hand to do it.
Okay. I'm not sure what that has to do with like gender affirming care though.
It comes under the same reason why, the Hippocratic Oath. I feel our current methods, one, don't give them exactly what they want. Not saying that all transgenders would like to be able to have children, but they will not be able to have children the way a natural born of the gender they choose to be would.
There
And our
probably
technology's not
would
quite
be an
there yet.
issue. Just real quick, there probably would be an issue when it comes to this, and where a person who's placed, I think if you changed the body a person is currently in, that would be no issue. But there probably would be an issue where if somebody is put into a body that is not theirs, they'd feel some level of body dysmorphia. I have a feeling they would feel some level of dysmorphia because they would be in a foreign body. We have no way to know this. It's just
possibly
the thought
imposter syndrome.
process of this.
Or possibly
I
imposter
don't know. It would
syndrome.
be a form of imposter syndrome. It would most likely be a dysmorphia. But they probably wouldn't. They probably would reject a different body because the brain just does that sort of thing.
I've read the DSM-3 and parts of the DSM-4, so I'm outdated. These days it's like DSM-5 or 6 maybe, and there might be a 6 by now. But basically I have a slightly different topic if you're willing to put up with me for a bit longer. DID. DID is a more recent categorization, but my understanding of it is due to someone's early trauma, their soul has fractured. Because I define
wouldn't
a
say their
soul as
soul.
the unique personality contained within someone's brain.
I don't even know
And
I don't know enough about DID to
by-
have this conversation. It's not something
Fair
I know enough
fair
about.
enough. Well, we can end it here if you like.
All right. Then you have a good rest of your day.
Have a good one.
No fucking idea, dude. No clue. No clue. None at all. No clue. No idea. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful boy. Yeah, probably would be the case that if you are, I really want, that's an interesting thought experiment. If we develop the point where humans can place their bodies into other bodies, would your consciousness reject that? Would it reject a new body? Almost like your body can reject an organ. That's an interesting thought experiment. That's actually a thought experiment. Beautiful boy. All right, next call. Coming up next is Jai, who's calling from Greece to talk about something. Okay. Jai, what are your age and pronouns, please? Hello.
Am I up? Hello,
yeah.
Mr. Jovan.
Uh-huh. So wow.
Okay, so my age, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so my age is 18 and I use he, they.
Okay. And you're calling about topic 5. What specifically are you calling to talk about?
I disagree with the proposition that trans men are men and trans women are women.
Okay, why?
Okay, so to clarify why, so you can understand it better, I have to ask you a question. What is like a minimal property that someone should have to be a woman or a man? I want to clarify on your position too.
Sorry, a minimal property somebody should have to be a woman or a man. The only property they would need is a gender identity that aligns with their schema on the male or female sex. That's the only property.
Okay, can you give me some examples of the constituents of such schema?
Can I know? Because I mean, I can tell you what my schema on male is, but I can't tell you what somebody else's might be. Only somebody else can tell you what
Yeah,
their
I mean,
schema
I
might
can
be.
have like your subjective like constitution of the schema is not really a problem. Just please tell me like so we don't have like this vague connection, right? So I can know what the reference about.
A schema is I don't know what you're asking me. Schema is just their own cognitive framework for what a male or female would be.
Oh, okay. So like the problem with this definition would be like it's gonna be like extremely vague and like the epistemic basis is not
I
gonna
don't
have
care that
like
it's vague. I don't
on
care
like
that so many definitions
stability.
are vague. I don't give a shit about a vague definition. So many definitions are vague. Vagueness means nothing to me.
Okay, so if you cannot give me a necessary, I can do a reduction on your position.
I gave you
You're
a
aware,
necessary.
Mister, right?
You just said the necessary was vague. I don't care that it's vague. There are so many vague definitions. I don't care.
Okay,
What's the definition of tall?
I did not make such propositions, sir. That's
You
red
said the
herring,
definition was
but I
vague.
can tell you.
You said the definition was vague. So I'm asking you, like, what's the definition of
No,
tall?
sir. Listen
What
to
about
me, please.
bald? What's the definition of
I
bald?
said the definition was vague.
How about rich?
Yeah, I said the definition was vague.
Old?
I said the definition was vague, and that was
Hot?
because even if it is vague, you can give like some specific constituent because
What's
the
the
way you are putting it, it seems
crowd?
like an empty set. So I cannot do
What's the
anything with
definition
an
of a
empty set.
crowd?
Excuse me?
I don't care about the definition being vague.
Oh,
So
Mr. Jovan,
many
oh my God,
definitions
please
are
don't
vague.
do
I
this.
don't care.
Yeah, the thing is, if you want to like have an analytic set in set theory, you need a necessary constituent. Do you have such constituent to make your proposition?
I've already given you my proposition. You just don't understand it, and that's the issue.
I understand your proposition, but I don't understand the referent of your proposition, Mr. Jovan,
What's there to understand?
which is why I am asking. Okay, you said it's about the cognitive schema, but like you have a name for
Your
the
phone is
properties
breaking
of
up.
that,
Your
so I'm
phone
not
is
gonna be aware
breaking
of
up.
the
You have to
content.
repeat yourself.
Yeah, so I did tell you. Like, I'm not gonna repeat myself many more times.
You're not going to repeat
If
yourself
you can
after your
give me a
phone was
minimal,
breaking
then
up?
we can go.
You're not going to repeat yourself after your phone was just breaking up? Okay, then bye.
Okay, what do you want me to repeat?
No,
It's
it's
not a
fine.
problem.
It's fine. You can go. If you're gonna be an asshole about it, bye.
Okay, okay, if you want so. But like, if you're not gonna answer like the contention, I'm just not gonna take your proposition seriously, right?
What is your contention? That you don't know what another person's schema might be? So what?
My contention, from what I'm getting from your sense
Phone's
in your
breaking up.
handbook, you said there is no necessary property. My contention
No, I
is
said
that.
no. I
Do
said
you
the
know what? Are you
necessary
aware with the
property.
solidity? Yeah.
No, I said the necessary property would be that their gender identity aligns with whatever their schema is on the male or female sex. I answered that
Okay,
already.
so that's another goalpost.
That's not a goalpost.
Okay, so what's gonna be
Whoa,
like?
I'm
the
sorry. Do I
male
need to replay the tape when you asked me the
what's gonna
necessary
be-
property? Stop. Because I will replay the tape where when you first asked me what the necessary was, I said that exact thing. Do you want me to replay the tape? There's no goalpost
No,
here.
I heard you.
This
Don't
is
worry.
what I said at the
I
start.
just mixed
So
it
now
up with
you're
the
just
thing-
poisoning the
mixed it
well.
up with the thing on your hand.
Are you enjoying poisoning the well, or do you want to have an actual conversation?
I can have an actual conversation.
Did I move the
you can
goalpost, or did I just say the
Okay,
same
so
thing that I said earlier?
I made an a priori, okay? That's my bad. So we're gonna
Mm.
go with your specific
I love the
proposition.
bad faithness in this conversation.
And I'm gonna ask you, you bring up a schema. I can do a reduction ad absurdum on that without saying the things I said before, because then it's just analytic. So if it's gonna be just analytic, it's gonna be a trivial distinction. I need a synthetic distinction, not an analytic distinction. Hello?
Yeah, what's your issue? What's your issue with it being analytic?
It's trivial and it can be used to literally justify anything as a definition. For example, I can make an analytic proposition to say X and X group does not exist in relation to how I defined it. So I'm gonna need some synthetic data. Are you fine with that?
Yeah, so you're saying it's analytic and it's not synthetic. Do people have schemas?
Obviously.
Is that a function of the brain?
Not necessarily. I'm a dualist.
Not
in a sense.
necessarily. You think a human brain can exist without you? A human can operate in a functional way without a schema on anything? How do you know what a
No,
dualist
I
is?
am aware there is a brain.
How do you know there's a dualist?
No,
How do
I
you know
am
what
aware that is a brain.
that I didn't ask you if you're aware of a brain. How do you know what a dualist is?
It's someone who believes in the brain and mind distinction.
Yeah,
Obviously.
how do you know what that is?
Obviously, because I exhibit characteristics of mind and I presuppose my brain. So that's a dual distinction.
Yes, no, my question is how
The
do you
brain
know
obviously exists.
that that's what a dualist is versus what a minimalist is or versus what an exceptionalist is? How do you know that that's what a dualist is?
Yeah, your epistemic question is kind of out of the window.
Or you just don't understand it? I'll explain it to you since it seems you're
Okay,
unable to keep up. I don't know why you're
yeah, why
talking.
don't you
I'm
go?
speaking right now.
Yeah, go.
The reason you know what a dualist is because you have a schema around the concept. Everybody does. The only reason we know what anything is because our brains have a cognitive framework around categorization. It's the only reason you know what it is. So when I ask you, do schemas exist? And you said, well, sometimes. No. If you have a functioning human brain, and you're a cognitive, sentient person who's a conscious living being, you have schemas. Even animals have schemas. It's the reason why kids eventually
Yes,
stop
I'm
calling
aware.
all four-legged creatures dogs because they develop a schema around what a dog is. So we know. So what you're saying is you're going, well, you're just making an analytical claim, which is for people who don't understand, because right now you're just trying to fill, bro, which is the most annoying shit in the world. For people who don't understand, what he's trying to say is, well, you're making a statement that's just like says, because the meaning of this word means this, then it's true. No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm making an actual synthetic claim, which for those who don't know, a synthetic truth would be something about how the world actually works or actually is. It's not merely a definitional thing, because our brains have schemas. Those are just things that our brains have. Our brains also have gender identities. Those are truths about the world we live in, that the human brains have gender identities and the human brains have schemas. And the truth about the world is those two things interact with each other. Plain and simple. So you said, well, you didn't give me a synthetic truth. I actually did. Hate to break it to you. You got any other ball busters for me
Okay,
today?
so I'm gonna grant, yes. I'm gonna grant the a posteriori you gave me, and in the specific sense that you gave it, yes, obviously we would have. It might have been an equivocation. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply the
I
same
love the
set
jargon.
necessity theory to the schema.
I love
So
the jargon. It's my
your
favorite thing.
definition is like super vague. I don't get any epistemic information out of your definition.
I mean, if you don't get it, that's on you, homie.
That's on me.
Yes. It's because you don't know,
Oh my,
understand.
there's no way. Yo.
It's because you don't understand the psychology enough to get epistemic information out of it.
I understand the psychology in the way.
No, you don't. You clearly don't.
There's no way. Okay, so what you're saying, there's gonna be a belief-dependent schema, which I can do the model collapse on for like any other social category? Why would it be for gender and not any other social category or like mental social category?
Because not all social categories are built the same. Gender is an identity category. It's a perception of oneself. We do allow this for other identities that are perceptions of oneself. For instance, someone's religion. That is an identity thing that they
No,
decide.
no, 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 no.
Okay, goodbye. This is so stupid. Get the fuck out of here. Dumb as fuck, bro. I hate Phil bros. Don't let a Phil bro jargon you into nonsense. Please don't. Because it's really stupid. And the things they say are stupid. I honestly wish Jeff was here for that one. Jeff would have loved that call. When he says something like, well, I don't get any epistemic information for that. All he's saying, all epistemic information means is it's information that is knowledgeable, justified evidence, or it's just a stupid way to say what is known, believed, or justified. Like you're not saying anything, and they try to Philbro their ways out of this, but I'm just gonna move on. Like, I don't do jargon. It's useless to me because you don't understand the things. Like, what? And he's like, well, I'm gonna grant you the synthetic thing. You're gonna grant it because it's true. You thought you had me in a trap. But I know enough about philosophy and I know enough about the Philbro jargon to understand when you're just saying that. What the bigger issue is that they say these things because they hope that the layperson won't call them on it, because they're like, well, look, I'm using big philosophy words, so you won't call me on it. But unfortunately, I know the words you're using, so I will. Embarrassing. Jordan Peterson and his consequences need to be studied. Dead ass, bro. Dead ass. Ooh, okay, great. I love this comment. Daniel Oliveira said the definition of woman in the dictionary is prescriptive. Okay, I agree. Wait, no, I agree with you. I agree. The definition of woman is prescriptive. Let's read what it is, shall we? Let's read what it is. I agree wholeheartedly that the definition of woman in the dictionary is prescriptive. So what I think we should do is I think we should go see what the definition of woman is in the dictionary. I think that's going to be our best use of our time right now. So here we go. Merriam-Webster. Let's look up woman. An adult female person. Okay. An adult female person. That's a woman. Okay. Well, I need to know what a female is, right? To know this, right? Because it's telling me that it's a female person, but doesn't really. That's just kicking the can down the road. So let's see what Merriam-Webster defines as female, so we know what a woman is. Oh, well, female has multiple definitions, so multiple things can be women. One is of, relating to, or being the sex that typically has the capacity to bear young or produce eggs. Okay, but what is having a gender identity that is opposite of male? Well, that's interesting, huh? Well, I guess by your prescriptive definition from the dictionary, trans women would be women. Wow. Cool. I agree. Thank you for your prescriptive dictionary definition. Lovely. Everybody give a round of applause for our trans ally in the chat. Round of applause, everybody. Oh, now you disagree with the dictionary, Danielle. Now you Daniel, sorry, Daniel, now you disagree with the dictionary? Oh, that's so interesting. You disagree with the dictionary now. Hmm. That's so interesting. You were all for the dictionary earlier, but now you're saying the dictionary is wrong? But you said it's prescriptive. Oh, that's so interesting, Daniel. I guess that goalpost really just needed to be pushed further away, didn't it? Yikes. Yikes, Daniel. Even look at what they say at gender identity, a person's internal sense of being male, female, or some combination of male, female. So it seems like the dictionary concretely defines that a gender identity is your internal sense of those things. And that in order to be a female, you just need an internal sense that is opposite of male. And then once you have that, you are indeed a woman. But now you disagree, Daniel? That's so interesting. That's so embarrassing for you that you had to pivot this hard. It's almost like the dictionary doesn't agree with you. What's the next goalpost going to be moved? But use a different dictionary. But that dictionary was changed. But if it's prescriptive, it couldn't have been changed. You can't change a prescriptive definition. That would by nature make it descriptive if you can change it. Damn, Daniel. I hope somebody clipped that. I hope somebody clipped the Daniel interaction. Why did the turd think that they were going to get it to call in and I was going to answer their call? Come on now, the turd. You know better. Doesn't that technically mean the dictionary says trans women are female? It says trans women are female and that females are women. Now Daniel's pivoted to just calling me arrogant. You got proven wrong. You came in with some nonsense. You got proven wrong from it, and now your response to that is, well, you're just arrogant. Okay. The Dead Sea Scrolls disprove you people. The Dead Sea Scrolls are just the oldest transcript of the Old Testament. They prove nothing except that the Old Testament is old, which we know. It's in the name. We don't call it the modern testament. We don't call it the 1 month ago testament. It's the Old Testament. Do some research. Read the whole comment. And Daniel, I don't give a fuck if you came in good faith. I came in your mom. Two things happened. You came in good faith. I came in your mom. Both of which don't matter. You didn't ask a question. You didn't ask a question. You made an assertion. Your assertion was the dictionary's prescriptive definition of woman is the correct one. And then when I read you the dictionary's prescriptive definition of woman, you moved the goalpost. So that you were bad faith. I don't treat bad faith people with good faith. Absolutely not. Jovan, are you his daddy? No, I don't birth idiots. Guys, I just came in bad faith. I came here in good faith to deny these people's identity. Come on, aren't I good faith when I come in here and deny these people's identity? Doesn't that make me good faith? I'm just denying who they are as people. Why can't you be good faith to me? So if people say that trans women aren't women because they're not female, we can say no. If they say that the dictionary, if somebody says that they're not women because the dictionary says they're not, then you can say that. They will move the goalpost immediately. It happens every single time. Now, if somebody were to argue with me, trans women aren't women because they're female, I would use half the arguments I usually do. Or you can make the argument that some trans women are female. Whichever one you want. No, Gabriel, you're right. If I find a book, if I found an original manuscript of Robin Hood, that definitely means Robin Hood was real. Yeah. I don't care how old the fake book is. Still fake. No, I got this. Winnie, no. Oh, sorry, I'll put you back in. Winnie, no, I was gonna answer Dante. I was gonna answer Dontarius and call him a turd again. Tell the turd to go fuck off. I just think Jovan and his screeners are transphobes and anti-Semites. Fuck off, turd. Please go back to the fucking pit you crawled out of. Unsheath that shit. I want to see Jovan's sword. Crazy. Shing. I think I could hold a metal version of this. It is thick, though. It would be a very thick sword. Best sword in gaming history. It's the first. It's the first. Brother, it's the OG. It's the OG. Come on now. No way you could own a metal sword like that. I'm built motherfucking different. I'm actually thinking I figured out where to put it. I should just put it up here, right? And just have it chilling. I don't know that it'll fit. But I kind of feel like that's where it should go. I put the base. I'd have to build. Oh, this should be nasty. I'd have to build something to hold the base. But if I could get the sword right up here, that would be sick. But I'd have to like build a platform for it to sit on that I can screw into the base. Otherwise, I could also go over here. But then I could put the keyblade right here. You can't really see. But I can put the keyblade on top of this one. The keyblade is the second best video game sword. I just think people whose mothers I've come in shouldn't call the show. Just thought process. I wouldn't call in if I fucked your mom. It's just not a good look. Wear it on your back. So the issue with that is those videos are right. This thing would be really hard to unsheath if it was on your back. If this was truly, like, I'll use my chair to kind of keep it propped up. If this was truly on my back, and I'm like, well, I want to unsheath it. You can't, it's too long. You have to pull it down and then pull it out, which is not great. So it's not wrong. Unsheathing this from your back would be damn near impossible. Now unsheathing it from your side, simple. Like a knight would do. Well, you can just pull the sheath down when you pull the sword out, and that works, but it's clunky. Hey, Elira, thank you for the super chat. Trans rights are human rights, and if you can't accept that, fill in the blank. True. True. I gotta upload that Benny Johnson Supergirl reaction. I hate that man. I'm fucking with the Fred Hampton video. Not gonna hold you. I'm definitely doing that. I won't be able to link it to any like media like I like to, but still. Yeah. Personally, I'd love someone to call in on topic number 6. Was the VOD with Lainey and Katie uploaded? I don't know. Go check the VOD channel. I forgot. Maybe. I'm gonna upload some more VODs tonight. Does the Dead Sea Scrolls also disagree with a lot of the Old Testament of today? Well, it shows a lot. It shows stuff that was added after the fact. Because there's things that are in the Old Testament that aren't in the Dead Sea Scrolls, but we don't have a complete. The Dead Sea Scrolls aren't a complete text, so you have to make you just make a judgment on that. Like you can just say like these stuff, like the Dead Sea Scrolls aren't complete, like they're not a complete text. We have most of Isaiah. Most of Isaiah is in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and then I don't remember for the rest of the book, but like. That's usually going to be the answer, is that like, well, it's not a complete text, so we don't know what was added or what is missing. But it's none of the New Testament. The New Testament isn't in the Dead Sea Scrolls. It's just not there because it's a copy of the old book. I would love to see a debate about neopronouns. I just don't give a shit about neopronouns. If you want to use them, I'll use them. I just don't care. They're a little silly to me, but I'll use them for somebody. I just think it's a silly thing. What's the Fred Hampton thing? Oh, people were just asking me earlier if I could make a video on like specifically on why the US government was terrified of Fred Hampton, and I said that's a great idea. Definitely what I want to do. It's a great video idea, and I'm absolutely going to try to have it written and recorded in the next week. Like, ultimately, I don't, like, pronouns are just this part of language, so I don't really care. Like, ultimately, like, it can be whatever you want. I just know that, like, in my cisgender mind, when I think of how I would refer to oneself in gender senses, I don't understand the need to use a neopronoun, because the pronouns that we do have in the English language are already so, like, comprehensive in my belief. But Jovan is a mega transphobe. Hell yeah. I sent J.K. Rowling $500 yesterday. Said, thanks for all the hard work, you fucking mold-ridden queen. Couldn't you say capitalism is failing anyone because operating as no, it's failing people. I specifically wrote it that way so that people would stop calling in and be like, well, it's not failing because it's doing it. No, it's failing people. Absolutely. Everyone in the global south is being failed by capitalism. Jovan, don't send money to the mold queen. Guys, she just made a compelling argument when she said, "Nuh-uh." You know? I just need her to make another Fantastic Beasts movie. All right, we got an office hours call. Coming up next is Tyson from Indiana. Tyson calling up with an office hours call about Christianity. Tyson, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
Hi, it's 19 and he, they.
All right, Tyson, what are your questions?
So I was engaged in a debate with my uncle, who is a pastor, and he brought up some topics that I really couldn't argue against. He was mostly talking about presuppositions and how we all needed presuppositions, and that Christianity is the best presupposition. And when I tried to argue against that, he kind of just threw a bunch of kind of the Philbro philosophy, which knocked me all the way off guard.
Does he know that
And
the
so
phrase Christianity is the best presupposition is in and of itself a presupposition?
Yes, I tried pointing that out, but then he said that it is the best presupposition out of all presuppositions.
Okay, but he didn't ground it?
No, I tried to get him to ground it, but he wouldn't.
Then I would just be like, well, you didn't ground your presuppositions. I have no reason to engage with it. You didn't ground it. Why would I engage with a presupposition that you're not grounding?
He kind of little broed me. So
do you tell him to call me?
Okay, I will. And
I'll
then
talk to him.
Second thing.
Are you near him? Put him on. Are you in the house with him? Put him on a phone.
I'll have to text him. Let me see.
Text him right now. 3-way call.
Okay. Let me see if I can find his number. He says he's not available right now.
Typical.
Is there another time when you'll be on?
Jovanbradley.com has my schedule. Just have him call me. You could be with him too. Yeah, what it appears to be is he's just making an ought claim for why we ought follow Christianity, and like I'm gonna reject that ought claim, like immensely, because like why? You have to ground the ought. You can't just say it is because it is.
Exactly. Yeah. And then he went through a lot of the woke ideas based on communism, which also threw me way off guard.
Whoopee. Let him try some shit like that. Yeah. This sounds like your uncle sounds like he's terrible at debate. So so he's just shifting, like he's just pivoting to communism to throw you off. That's useless.
Yeah.
He either needs to he needs to tell us.
So
he's a Calvinist.
Yes, he's a Reformed Calvinist, or Reformed, or whatever you want to call it. And we were talking about that, and then I was I've got a lot better at debating, especially when it comes to Christianity. And I asked him if he wanted to try it again, because last time we did it was like a year ago, and that was like me as a baby atheist. And so I went out there and did it again. I had all my arguments formed up for what I know he believes, and that's when he threw the presupposition and the communism and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I would so funny. What the fuck? I would ask him what
Yeah.
he's grounding when he says best. What does he mean when he says best? Is he saying Christianity is the most coherent worldview? It is the most explanatory power. It's the most
He says the most like
fuck is he
coherent
doing?
and moral.
Is he doing tag? He's doing
What
tag,
do you
isn't
mean by
he?
that? What do you mean by that?
Tag is the transcendental argument for God. It's essentially only
Oh, okay.
Christianity can account for logic and morality.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. Yeah.
Motherfucking tag is so annoying.
Yeah.
Oh my God, bro. You know what? You know what? Try to find a time when I have Jeff on with me. Jeff loves to argue with people who debate tag. He hates tag so much. So I just think that would be funny and it would make Jeff suffer.
I'll definitely have to find the right time for that. Yeah.
Yeah, peep my schedule. My schedule, jovanbradley.com, has when I'm streaming, what type of stream it is, and then it will tell you if I have a co-host that day or not. So if you're looking for Jeff, you can see Jeff on there.
All righty, thank you. And then I have one more question.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the predestination argument, and do you ever use it? Because from what I've noticed, I don't really hear it a lot.
The
what do you think
predestination
about
argument?
the effectiveness of it? Yeah, Romans 9, Romans 8. Like, what do you think of the effectiveness of the immorality of, sorry, whatever, I can't even speak today. The immoral nature of predestination. You ever argue from that, or?
No, I'm not even sure what. Can you just break down? I might know it in a different name. Can you just let me know like what the basic premise of the argument is?
So basically, in the Bible claims that there are the people that go to heaven are the elect, and they're the chosen of God, and then the people that go to hell are also chosen by God to go to hell. In Romans 9, it says, vessels made for dishonor and vessels made of honor, so he can show his mercy on the vessels of honor and show his wrath on the vessels of dishonor. And then in Romans 8,
he's like already determined who's going to hell?
Yeah, determinism. And also it says, not based on your will or your decisions, but on the will of him who wrote it all. Because for those whom I have chosen, I have also predestined. For those whom I predestined, I have also glorified. For those whom I have glorified, I have also made first among many.
Yeah, I've not actually heard this argument before. Like, I might have heard it in like a different name, but I've not actually. This is a new one to me, so I'd need to like actually look at the argument first. But I mean, off rip, it's assuming a lot of shit, you know?
Yeah, exactly. He taught me that one. So
yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's gonna be stupid, but I can look into it and get you an answer by the time your uncle calls in.
Okay, that's cool.
That works for me.
Alrighty, that's all the questions I had.
All right, bud. You have a good rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
I should have guessed his uncle was just gonna do tag. Fucking tag, bro. It's the transcendental argument for God, and everybody, it's tag. What's the best anime? Anohana. Man, but you know what came up on my feed the other day that I was watching was I forgot how much I liked the movie A Silent Voice. That shit breaks me every time, dude. Isn't there a tag argument? Well, you could technically make a tag argument for basically anything. I guess tag for abortion would be the ta. But tag's fundamental flaw is most people who argue it just concede. I think it's the second premise of tag, that God is required for logic, which no tag debater can demonstrate at all. Ugh, my tum-tum. What was your first non-4 kids anime? Dragon Ball, probably. Tag is the transcendental, right? The trans, right? The fuck. Wait. The transcendental argument for God. Yeah. The transcendental argument for God. And it's specifically a grounding for the Christian God, which is just even stupider. The trans argument for God. Trans women exist, therefore God. Should Graham Plattner drop out? Yes. I hate to break it to you. All sex offenders should not be in office. And there's not a single one of them. So yeah, get his ass out. I don't know why this is even an argument. Could God create a cock that is too thick for even himself to suck? Think about it. Yeah, just ask anybody who runs tag to ground Proposition 2. They can't do it. I need to wash my hair. So I might end in a couple minutes. So I can go wash my hair. I wanted to be no glitch witch. Is she thick is not a me thing. There's actually there's a creator on TikTok. Oh my gosh, we're mutuals too, and I don't remember their name off rip. I don't remember. Is tag what Darth Dawkins used? I think Darth Dawkins runs tag. Darth Dawkins is my favorite Christian crash out. Because the slightest pushback on anything he says and he fucking flails. All right, office hours call. Let's take it. All right, coming up is Amelia from Australia with an office hours call. Amelia, hello. Can I get your age and pronouns, please?
Hi, 31, she, her.
Okay. Amelia, office hours call. What are your questions?
So, I don't understand communism very much. And I was wondering basically how communism would work um, when the majority of people have to agree on something for it to be done. How would that affect like minorities who don't have a large voice to, push what they need through?
Well, the thing when it comes to communism is that the idea is that with the class distinction gone, there won't be any need to I guess what's the word I'm looking for? There won't be a need to distinguish by any of these other social classes either. Like class in the sense of wealth is like one of the big drivers. So the reason why historically black people have been in chains or things like that is because we've historically been used to generate wealth for the top class, right? We've just like that's been our use. Our use has been as a wealth generation means. So once you remove that incentive, there really is there's nothing you get out of uh there's nothing you get out of doing this anymore, if that makes sense.
Does overall, except for like, I'm gonna use trans people as an example.
Hmm.
The medicine and um, like procedures and everything that trans people go through is kind of pushed right now by um, profit, essentially. And if, um, from my understanding at least, if we didn't have that, and if we didn't have people advocating for things, in a communist situation, um, how would we develop medications and stuff for a very um, small part of the population?
Well, I mean, they would still. I mean, strictly speaking, under communism, they would get whatever they need, right? Now, if you're saying like, well, how do we like if you have a communist system that's run by a bunch of transphobes, what happens? Well, that would be. I don't necessarily know that there's a way around this objection, except for that you'd have to make sure that the transphobes are weeded out of the society already. If that makes sense. Like, God, I don't even know how to so communism as we would be operating under it would be a final step. The goal would be that in like the socialist state pre not cognition pre the communist state, we will have already weeded out all the transphobe stuff through like effective policy positions and things like that.
So essentially, we would be at a point where the discrimination we see to minorities and stuff like that just hopefully doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I guess that kind of answers my question. Um,
All right.
yeah, that was very quick. I don't have anything else to ask. I'm sorry.
No worries, no worries. You're all good. Thank you for calling in.
All right, thank you.
All right. This next one will probably be the last call, and then I will see y'all tomorrow. Tell me why you think the Keyblade is better than the Energy Sword, because Kingdom Hearts is more fun than Halo. Now that's a hot take. True. One of these days, the way we'll end stream is I'll make a board of Jovan's pop culture takes, and you guys can call in to debate me on pop culture stuff as like a fun end of stream thing. How would that? How does that sound, chat? Does that sound fun? Also, if you've been watching today and you've enjoyed the stream and you're like, Jovan, this was phenomenal entertainment, consider a tip. It does go a long way to keeping the call-in lines open. Even $10 is cheaper than you would have gotten to watch a movie for the same 3 hours of content that I gave you here. So consider a tip if you want to, but you also don't have to. I thought Supergirl was good. I liked it. I gave it like a 7. Billy Sipes! I would love to debate you on pop culture. Let's fucking do it, Billy. Bro, me and Billy and Luthien were playing a horror game last night, and it was very funny. Billy, I think I can tonight, later. If you want to play again tonight, just let me know. It would just have to be later, but I think it's Luthien's actual birthday, so she probably can't play. But I should be able to play tonight, later in the night, like probably around like 10 or 11. Take the call, Jovan? What call? Oh. Okay. All right, coming up next to stream for an office hours call is Lacey, calling from Florida. Lacey, hello, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
Hello, I'm 28 and I go by she, her.
All right, Lacey, what is your question?
So I guess this kind of goes with your topic number 6. It's not necessarily to debate because I definitely do agree. In your Discord, I made a post in your advice channel. And I'll give you the short summary of it. Basically, one of my friends is super religious, and keep in mind he is very good-hearted. He has very good intentions, but is ultra religious, very Christian. And then I have another friend who, to my understanding, has always been very agnostic. He grew up Catholic, but recently has been going through a rough time in his life. Is currently going through a divorce. They, he's had his first kid together, with them. Has a couple medical issues going on with them. And the first friend I mentioned is kind of I guess for lack of better words, helping them find religion and converting them to Christianity. And to a certain point, it feels almost feels like poaching. And
so right now, so I understand, you have two friends, friend A and friend B. Friend B is going through a really shitty time, and friend A is essentially trying to convert them to their religion while they're going through this shitty time.
Yes.
I would drop friend A so fast. Me personally. I would drop friend A like a bad habit. because you can't. It's so, we don't consider it fucked up because it's so common practice, but it's so fucked up that people use difficult times in people's life to convert them. Like, if somebody was going through something like this and another person was trying to use this to like cozy up to them for sexual favors, we would be like, oh fuck no, what are you doing? But we allow it for religion. It's a fucked up thing to do.
Yeah, I guess I never thought about it in that way.
Yeah.
I have talked to friend B, and they said that they have been like appreciating, like, you know, being involved in a community, you know, going to the church and, you know, being active and sociable with people. So, you know, that, you know, they're looking at the positives of it. So I guess I haven't seen any issues with it, but, you know, like I never have been able to drop that feeling of, like, you know, that icky feeling of, it doesn't quite feel right. I can't tell if that was me just feeling biased.
No, it's not right at all. It's fucked up.
Okay.
It's so messed up where they're like, because he could be offering so much other stuff, right? You could be offering help. You could be offering a whole bunch of other things, but to be like, oh well, just come over to our religious side, man. Like, no, what the fuck? No, I'm not a fan of that.
I guess to give a little bit more context, both myself and friend A have paid for 3 therapy sessions for friend B,
Okay.
just to kind of get them started on like a mental health journey. So
Okay,
it's not
at least there's
you know,
that.
Yeah. And you know, we still, you know, have our, you know, friend group. So it's not like you know, friend B's also just kind of cast to the wind. You know, we still socialize as much as we can. Sadly, they just live in another state where all of us are just kind of separated right now.
Yeah, no, I'm still not a fan of that. Look, if they're your friend, I would sit down and talk to them and be like, hey, this doesn't feel like an appropriate time to like talk to this person about your religion and like try to get this person onto your religious side. It just doesn't feel appropriate. Maybe instead we like don't do that, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And love your content.
Hey, thank you so much.
Alrighty. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye. All right, that is stream for the day. I hope you guys had a good day. I hope you had a good stream. I will see you guys tomorrow. Mentally Levi, thank you so much for the gifted subs over on Twitch. Saw those before I clocked out. I'll be back tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Make sure you guys are chilling. We might do another movie night this Friday in the Discord. I'm actually like enjoying movie nights on Friday, so we might do another one. I just got to think of a movie to watch. We might do a movie night this night on Friday. This Friday night. You know, I'm having fun with movie nights. Okay. Yeah, you guys have a good rest of your day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye. Thank you all for watching this video. If you don't know me, I'm Jovan Bradley. I still didn't change this. I'm a leftist content creator who does debates, political commentary, gaming, and more. If this is your first video, thanks for sticking to the end, and I hope you subscribe. Thank you to all my YouTube members. Your continued support helps me create as much as I can. Consider joining. A membership starts at $2.99 and gets you access to early video drops, our community Minecraft server, and our community Discord, where we host roundtable discussions, guest lectures from creators of all kinds, and our monthly book club. Shout out to my Tier 4 members who go above and beyond to help keep my content as accessible and regular as it currently is. They're on the screen now. Your support goes a long way in helping me to continue the fight for equity, justice, and education. Thank you for watching, and remember to stay educated.